Hello everyone, welcome to the Beneath the Ring podcast. Before we get into the episode, I just want to say that we were having some technical difficulties with this episode. For instance, I set my microphone on the wrong settings, so there are bits where it sounds weird. It goes through one ear, through the other. So my apologies. We are still brand new at doing this, and we are trying to improve every single time we do a podcast. So hopefully this doesn't affect you too much from enjoying the podcast. And yeah, we will see you some other time. So yeah, sit down, get some popcorn or whatever, and enjoy the podcast. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Beneath the Ring podcast with me, Dan, who has a much better microphone this week. And I am here with Scott. Say hello, Scott.
Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well and you're enjoying your weekly dose of wrestling. Looking forward to talking about everything we've got to talk about today. And yeah, you're sounding lovely, Dan. Excellent quality on your mic there. It's going to be glorious.
I am absolutely glad, yeah. So we're trying a different technique here this week. We're trying it through my laptop rather than through my phone. We normally record this through while I'm on the phone and Scott's on his laptop or PC, whatever you use. But now we're both on laptops, so hopefully this will run a bit more smoother than we normally have, Scott.
Yeah, hopefully so. Well, that's the beauty of it. It's just each podcast we're just trying to get a little better technology-wise, trying to work on our team to sound better and better so our podcasts are more enjoyable. And hopefully we're one step closer towards that.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping you don't hear too much in the background because I'm on I just noticed my chair keeps going. Hopefully you don't hear that business, but we shall see.
Squeaky chair.
Squeaky chair. It's not squeaky. It's just because it's leather. It's like you hear that if you move a little bit, it's like sounds like you fart. But hopefully we don't get that throughout the whole podcast.
Yeah, sure. It's the chair, right? It's the chair.
It's the chair. I swear. Yes, I swear. Well, just a burger it before the podcast. Yes.
Going right through you.
So, just to let everyone know, obviously, we've not been here since we did our WrestleMania review. So, it's been a couple of weeks, but as you know, this podcast will end up being hopefully a monthly thing. We do one a month, but luckily, this is actually just a couple of weeks after our last podcast. So, we're quite lucky we could get to do this a couple of weeks after the Mania podcast, and we get to now review Backlash. That's what we're doing on this podcast. We'll be reviewing Backlash, plus also a sprinkle of what happened on Raw after, and maybe a little bit of the build for Backlash as well. But the main focus will be Backlash.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's been lucky. It's been a couple of weeks after Mania. That was a good chunky podcast last time, about 5 hours. Yes, so it won't be that long, but it will be certainly a change of pace for us for like maybe in a couple of hours and see what it's like with these kind of lengthy pay-per-views, these smaller pay-per-views, a few hours. So it gives us a bit more time to talk about some of the other stuff on the shows. So should be really good.
Absolutely, it should be good. So I'm just bringing up the Backlash card so we can go through it, yes. But another thing we are hoping to do as well is make this a shorter podcast than we would normally do. The last two, one was 4 hours, one was 5 hours. So we're going to hopefully get this done within 2 hours. That's the plan. We don't want to every time.
Start for like WrestleMania, isn't it? It's like our first couple of podcasts. It's the longest of the long.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want this to last forever for sure. That's the thing. I want to try and nail down these podcasts to at least 2 to 3 hours. I'll be happy around that mark. 5 hours, which I don't mind doing. It just after I remember my throat was hurting. I think your throat was hurting as well.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Not used to talking 5 hours straight. Well, I'm not used to it, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But yeah, you most likely will get more.
Yeah,
SummerSlam will be most likely when we do another 4 to 5 hour podcast. But yeah, hopefully we could keep the rest of them down to about 2 to 3 hours. I'll be a happy man doing that. And of course, if you want more content from me, you can see me on the TikTok page, Beneath the Ring TikTok page. I do daily wrestling TikToks on there, so you get to know my thoughts and that while things are happening. And obviously with Scott, the only time you hear from Scott is through these podcasts. So yeah, if you want to keep up to date with my stuff, make sure you go to TikTok. Otherwise, you just have to wait around for the podcast to hear what Scott thinks about stuff. But I'm sure he'll give you all the insights and all of his thoughts as we go through this.
Yeah, good stuff. This is definitely a good format to just unload and just dunk our thoughts on the mic.
Absolutely. I've been thinking on my TikTok, I'm like, I don't really feel like I give too much of my thoughts out there. Like, obviously I do give my thoughts out there, but I don't like go real deep in depth with things. But that's why we do this podcast, so we can actually go more in depth with things, and you can actually hear more of my thoughts, and obviously Scott's all of his thoughts on here. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the format that we have currently. I think it's a good thing that we have.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It must be good for you because you have your immediate thoughts on like TikTok. You can just let it out straight away and just immediately get comments back and see what they think. And then if you want to get into a bit more detail, that's what these podcasts are for. And you can really let loose, positive or negative, let know everything you want to let out. So yeah, I think we've got a good team going on here. Looking forward to
absolutely
more podcasts as we go forward.
Absolutely. So, should we get into Backlash then, lad?
Let's do this thing, yes.
So yeah, on TikTok I have my micro, or what do I call it, quickfire review, where I'll give like my very brief thoughts on each match. So obviously if you've seen that, this is going to be a much more in-depth talk. So let's do this as the man Brock Lesnar would say. So let's begin, shall we? Let's do, is there anything the build to Backlash I thought was quite mediocre. Like, I don't think it was that great. I'm trying to think. I liked what they did with Lyra. I think Lyra Valkyria definitely was a standout. Like, what they've really done well with her over the last couple of weeks. This feud with Becky Lynch, I think, has been great for Lyra. I think Lyra's needed this, and it's now made us care about her. So I'm actually quite happy with how that build happened. That build there was good. I weren't a fan of it coming out of WrestleMania, where Becky just came out of nowhere, won a title. But then I thought the heel turn was quite strong. And then we get the build to this match. And I thought, yeah, Lyra actually putting a microphone on Lyra actually works really well. Well done, Triple H and booking team. See, give these women some promo time and it will get them over. I've said this many times before, and I'm sure I'm going to go on some sort of rant at some point during this podcast about how you are booking these people as well. But anyway, let me continue on. I think the US title stuff has been really good. I like the fact that they included Drew McIntyre. I know some people are like, oh, well, he shouldn't. It's like too beneath him. He shouldn't be going after the US title. But I disagree. In a way, I'm like, well, when you have these bigger names go after the US title, it actually brings more prestige to the US title and makes it more important. So I don't mind, and especially somebody like Drew, if you're not going to put the world title on him, then have him go after the US title and make that one feel a bit more prestigious if you ain't got no plans for him to be in the world title. I'd rather him doing this than doing absolutely nothing. So, and I think, yeah, it was good to include Damian Priest because obviously he was feuding with Drew into Mania, and LA Knight, who gets his rematch against Jacob Fatu. I thought the build to this was really good. It made it feel like the US division is actually quite good at the moment. It's like it's got some importance to it, which I like. And then the Dominic and Penta build, it's not really been there. I'd rather, Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day split up. I said I'd give it to Backlash, and we still haven't split them up. So I am off the bandwagon. I'm completely gone. I don't care. I will not care until Dom and Finn split up. So just get it off my TV until you're ready for that show when that happens. Then Gunther and Pat McAfee, their build. I thought this was really good. I thought it was a really good development for what they've done with Gunther since his loss to the loss of the World Championship. I think having him like as an aggressive monster is great, and him taking it out on the commentators, perfect, because all they were doing was yeeting throughout the whole feud, and it made sense why Gunther would be angry at him. So I'm all for it. I thought the build was good. I think Pat McAfee, although he was a bit cheesy, I think he done well on his part of the build, and I thought also Gunther did. I've really liked this build. I think it's really good. Much more storytelling than obviously wrestling, but That's what I'm here for. It's all about storytelling for me. Story is king, as they say. So yeah, well, obviously I'll go into that match a bit later. And then John Cena and Randy Orton. I'm glad this match happened, but the build itself was quite bland. We need to get out of this. John Cena goes out there, craps on the fans, and then the good guy gets one up on him. We've done this now for ever since really Cena's turned heel. So come on, we need to shake things up. His next feud, which obviously we'll go into, we think the next feud will be with, that needs to be shaked up. Like, we can't just keep having this again and again. Cena's great on the microphone. He's great at crapping on the crowd. Absolutely. I enjoyed the segments while they were happening, but they were getting a bit more bland, especially that last one. I was like, oh, we're just doing the same thing again and again and again. Come on, we need to spice things up a bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my feelings on the build for all 5 matches. So Scott, give it away. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, been pretty much in most agreement, actually, if not nearly all agreement with you, so I won't waste too much time just repeating what you said, really. Yeah, the build hasn't been that much, really, but it's only been a few weeks since Mania, so there's only so much you can cram in there, which can lead to another discussion of maybe they cram in too many shows or Saturday night main events or special events too close to each other, so it doesn't leave time for builds to breathe. But at the same time, this came after a massive long build Mania, which felt massively like it was dragging. So in that sense, it kind of felt refreshing that it was actually moving stuff along. But yeah, maybe we needed an extra week just to maybe flesh things out a little more. US belt situation, yeah, I think this has been good. I think this has been the best the US belt has looked for some time, to be honest. It just feels very important. Everyone's going for it. So it's nice to see just everyone chucking their hat in the ring and vying for it. It's very enjoyable. Jacob is obviously a beast. Loving everything Jacob's doing. I get what they're saying about Drew. I was saying, like, is this beneath him? But it doesn't feel like there's a place for him for the main titles in either show at the moment. Cena's holding the belts. Obviously, Drew's not going to be the one to take it, and I feel like I might go towards Jey Uso to Seth Rollins or that direction, considering the main storyline on Raw. So I just don't see what else Drew can do in terms of a belt, really. So you might as well go for one of the lesser ones and, you know, make that feel important. So I can understand that. And then, yeah, you got Damian Priest, which doesn't feel like it makes as much sense considering he lost to Drew, but, you know, I can buy it. He's a big enough of a presence and has done enough to vie for the belt. And LA Knight obviously going for that rematch. So, you know, it's just been more of a chaotic sort of thing. Obviously, you try to build up the bit of a feud between Damian and LA Knight, which I've enjoyed. And yeah, just all kind of mixing it up. And then we'll get into the solo side of things. But before this, it just felt like they were dragging out the solo Jacob kind of tension there. It's like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to go on for? We thought it was going to lead to Mania, but no. But we'll get on to more of that about the match. But yeah, nice little build here. It's just been more of just like 4 guys really going at it, going for each other. Bit of chaos. And yeah, it really makes the US belt feel more important. So I'm enjoying that. Lyra and Becky, very good. Very good. It's like, my gosh, this is the most I've ever cared about Lyra, ever. And why? Because you gave her a microphone. She can actually talk well. It's like, oh my gosh. She's not tripping on her words. She actually gives good zingers and, you know, jabs at her opponent. It's like, oh my gosh. And you've been hiding this from us for this long? So not good that they haven't really thought about this and, you know, given Lyra a mic or given her an attempt of having a proper story field build up to this point. Not good, but at least they're doing it now. And yeah, it's the most I've cared about Lyra. They're doing a good job. Becky's an excellent heel. She's a really good heel, I think. She does a great job with that. It's just some things, like, she's still kind of over. She's like, people aren't fully buying it. I think they need to change her theme song. I don't know what is it with faces that like turning heel and keeping their face music. Cena, Becky, Seth. It's just like you need some heel music, People are singing along to this stuff. I don't know. Um, yeah, Becky's doing an amazing job, and how she was blaming Bailey, and she was the one that attacked Bailey, and then hating on Lyra for supporting Bailey and turning it on the fans. Really good stuff. So, yeah, was surprised by this build. So very much enjoying it. Probably the most satisfying build of the lot, as they in terms of where they're going to go and what they could bring out of these two. Penta and Dominic, there was nothing here, nothing really to talk about. It was basically just a follow up from Mania, and Judgment Day just split them up for the love of God. So I just don't care. But I care about Dominic as champion, so I was intrigued on how he was going to hold up against Penta, because usually Dominic's booked like, as a weak wrestler. So interesting to see how he was booked as a champion. Gunther and Pat McAfee. Loved that Gunther destroyed Pat. I wanted him to destroy Michael Cole as well, and they'd be off TV for good. It's just like get rid of him. But yeah, he choked Pat McAfee out. Really good stuff. And I was surprised it actually led to a match, to be honest. I thought it was just a one-off segment. So yeah, that was surprising. I mean, Pat was doing just like really cheesy, makes you want to gag kind of promos. I do this all for my community, and I want to be known for this and that, and supporting my family and friends. It's like, geez, he's laying it on pretty thick. But he's got the crowd on side, and Gunther looks like just a arsehole. So they've done what they needed to do, yes. And yeah, you don't see a match like this every day with a commentator, so I was feeling it. So not a bad little build there. And then yeah, I agree with Cena and Orton. It's just same stuff every time. They talk, Cena slags the fans off, and then the face lays him out to waste. Not really story, to be honest. It's not like stuff's advancing sort of. It's just verbal jabs. And, I am enjoying the verbal jabs. I'm really enjoying what Cena's doing on the mic, but you could shake it up a little bit, do some certain things. At least a bit more than what you're doing. Don't want to spend the whole year seeing him just laid out on his back after whoever's wiped him out. So hopefully they can work on that. But it's better than what we've been getting for Mania, where we've just been waiting for The Rock for ages. And I'm just hoping Orton turns heel at some point, because again, he's also very cheesy, makes you want to gag sometimes, especially in one exchange with Cena. So not too big a fan of face Orton, to be honest. But obviously he's going to be very over here because they're in his hometown. So yeah, it was all right. Enjoyed the promos, but yeah, not much of a build there. So I said I wasn't going to be that long, but it just kind of went into my thoughts there. But yeah, it's been all right, the build. Nothing too major. And considering they were leaving a lot of the bigger stuff like the Seth storyline, no Rhea or Bianca or anyone like that, you think of this card and you're thinking, is it going to deliver? But we'll get into it and let know our thoughts on that right now, I guess.
Yes, let's get into it, chap. Let's get into it. So we might as well start off straight away with Jacob for 2. He defeated LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre in a fatal 4-way, so he was able to retain his WWE United States Championship. Why don't you go first with this one, son?
Oh, to the year fatal 4-way, yes. You can't go wrong with this. I watch both WWE and AEW, and it doesn't matter which show I'm watching. Multi-man matches are just fun. They're just always so enjoyable. Triple threats, fatal 4-ways, all that. Almost to the point that I kind of want there to be at least one multi-man match every pay-per-view, almost, because I think it just sets a great precedent of like just fun and excitement. Add that element to it, to every pay-per-view. I mean, the Triple Threat Mania, the Rollins match was one of my favorites ever, because they went the extra mile with story, and the women's match, Triple Threat on night 2, was brilliant. And I really enjoyed this one here. Yes, I thought they did a really good job. Very exciting. Everyone got their bits in. Bit of a stare down between Drew and Jacob, so there could be a little thing going on there. Would love to see that as a feud going forward. Yeah, just crazy stuff amongst everyone. Was it Drew was in the Tree of Woe, and he threw Jacob off the top rope, which led to a swanton into LA Knight. I think Damien Priest, did he do a South of Heaven to Jacob? Then LA Knight did BFT. There's an exchange there of multiple finishes. It's been a few days, so it's trying to remember it. But I just remember that was a particularly good spot. But yeah, it's thoroughly enjoyable. What a way to start the pay-per-view for sure. The best way to start. And I like that their natural feuds kind of. I like the way it ended because their natural feuds kind of led them apart. So you got Drew and Damien still pissed at each other, so it led to them going through tables in the crowd in the South of Heaven. That was a great way to get them out of the match. And then it's leading to LA Knight and Jacob. And I don't think anyone really saw. I think you did a prediction, Dan, that maybe Drew would take it. I was pretty sure that Jacob was going to win it throughout the whole time. And I think we was all pretty sure LA Knight weren't going to take it. How they did it was very cool because Solo got backup. Solo brought in reinforcements to quote-unquote help Jacob Fatu. Jeff Cobb, the big man, Jeff Cobb, is here. The rumors are true. I think on social media, Jeff Cobb was pretending like he was kind of retiring, sort of deal. It's like this kind of sort of thing you got to do now because everyone's looking at everything online, so you kind of got to fool them on that. But great seeing Jeff. Probably one of the best big man in the game that isn't in WWE, and now here he is in WWE. Absolutely crazy. I did not see it going this way, that Solo was going to recruit him. So it feels like kind of a repeat of last year, because I think Backlash last year, Solo got, I can't remember, Tama Tonga, his brother, Tama Tonga, it was his brother he brought in. Solo recruited someone to help him and the crew last year, Backlash, and now here we are again, Solo recruiting someone, reinstating some sort of group. So this made it all the more interesting because I was kind of losing interest in Solo and Jacob and that because they weren't doing anything. But it feels like we're kind of waiting for Solo to build a new group, and maybe Lowe and Bronson, maybe Bronson Reed, they all recover from their injuries and then the group is back. And then once that's there, then we get into a bit of friction with Jacob. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's what we're waiting for here, playing the bigger picture. Clearly, they still want Solo to be the leader of something, hopefully under a new name, not the Bloodline, because we've moved past that now. So hopefully we'll have a new name for that. But hell, what a recruit, Jeff Cobb. What a way to do this. So Jacob clearly didn't know about it. The way he's looking at them, he's like, what the hell? You brought this man? So Jeff helps Jacob attacking LA Knight. So good stuff. I'm into this, man. I'm buying into this. I'm very interested in where this is going to go. Jacob and Jeff Cobb, bring it. I'm in. And then, yeah, I'm guessing as time goes by, we'll just see Solo's group grow more. And then maybe Solo will take the title from Jacob, possibly. I mean, we'll see. Or maybe Jeff Cobb takes it. I don't know. Multiple ways to go. But yeah, I was feeling this ending, man. I thought it was very good. And yeah, just the match overall was electric. The crowd was feeling it. I was feeling it. What a way to start the show. So yeah, very good stuff.
Excellent. My thoughts are, I thought it was a very, very strong start, but I really enjoyed this. I'm there with you. The multi-man matches have been really, really good as of late. Like they're just been smashing it. It's not like the old ways with Vince where you'd have a triple threat or a fatal four-way and then basically you just have two people having a singles match, one gets knocked down, then another one would come in. It's not like that anymore. They're all interacting with each other constantly in the ring, and it's just a lot of fun to watch, and this was no exception. Really, really enjoyed this match. I liked LA Knight's very strong beginning of the match. And then as soon as he had like control of everyone, I was like, well, clearly he's not winning. But I think we all knew he weren't going to win. There was multiple things in this match I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the Drew Jacob stare down. I just enjoyed Jacob overall in this match. I thought it was great. That spot where They all did like the finishes on each other, which was really good, and then they were all knocked out after doing it on all each other. Oh no! What was that spot where I think Drew? They did all the finishes to each other. Drew ended up with a claymore to Damian Priest, but then Damian Priest fell onto LA Knight for the pin, and then Drew was like, "Oh, crap!" That was a great spot. Great spot that was.
That's awesome.
The other bit I really liked was Drew was about to win, and then Damian Priest screwed him out again by pulling the referee out of the ring, screwed him out of winning the title. So they're still doing that story. A lot of storytelling and callbacks. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, the same. I really liked the ending where they split off into their own little feuds that they had at Mania. Damian Priest taking out Drew with the big spot. They've been doing that spot quite a few times as of late. I remember I think Drew and Jacob Fatu did that spot. No, not Drew. Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu did that spot a couple of weeks ago. So they do that spot a lot, the one where they're in the crowd, in the audience, they get on that big case and then they throw one or both into the tables next to it. But still, it's always fun to see. And then, the ending where Jeff Cobb came. I've only ever seen him once when I was first started. When I was watching AEW at the beginning, I think he came in for 1 week to face John Moxley or something, if I remember correctly. That's the only time I've ever seen him, so I don't know how good he is. I've heard good things, but I've not seen it myself, so I can't really comment on it. But I really like the story implications that we had where Jacob Fatu was like all confused by it, was looking at Jeff and Solo like, what the hell are you two doing here? What's going on? Why is he here? Kind of thing. Very confused. So what are they going to do here? That's what I want to know. What they're going to do. Obviously, that led to Jacob Fatu winning, which I did. I predicted Drew was going to win because I thought that Solo and this was going to be the Solo and Jacob split. But no, obviously we're going to build to that for another 15 years. But I'm interested to see where this is going to go. To me, it seems like this is going to be a Jacob face turn at some point down the line. It seems like Solo and his group is going to turn on Jacob at one point, and obviously Jeff Cobb is the one that's replaced Jacob. So I think when Jacob Fatu's looking at Jeff Cobb, he's looking at his replacement. So I think we actually are going to get a face turn with Jacob Fatu very soon, and I'm all for it. He's over as hell. Like, people love him, people are cheering him, so you might as well go face with him or a tweener, whatever way you want to go with him. But great on the microphone, great in ring. It's not a surprise why it's so over. But yeah, great first opening match. What a way to start! It was really hot way to start, and I was so invested after this. So yeah, I thought it was a great opening match. Very, very good. Yes.
Yeah, great way to open it. Really great job. And even though it might take a while for eventually Solo and Jacob facing each other, at least this adds some more intrigue to it. So I don't know what we're going to do with the other guys. I don't know if Drew and Damien's going to carry on the way it ended. I don't know what we're going to do with LA Knight, but hopefully some good things in there, some things in mind. But hopefully we'll have some refreshing feuds after this. Because this was kind of just like two Mania matches gelled into one, which was good. But now we'll see what kind of new feuds we'll possibly get into. Yeah,
definitely. I am definitely interested to see what they're going to do with the other three. Because I think, we've set up what they're going to do with Jacob Fatu at some point. But what are they? What is LA Knight going to do? What's Damian Priest going to do? What's Drew going to do? We shall see. Obviously, from what I understand, the draft is going to happen soon. So maybe a couple of them you can send over to Raw. I'm not sure, but hopefully we've got something. As I said, we've got to wait at least another 15 years to see Jacob and Solo split up. So that's going to be fun.
It'd be nice to see LA Knight go to Raw, because Raw seems the more story-heavy show. It'd be interesting to have LA Knight in that kind of environment. He's chucked into the thick of things with like Gunther and the Seth storyline and all that sort of stuff. It'd be refreshing for sure, and he could hold his weight on the mic easily, so that could be a cool draft for sure.
Absolutely. This is the one match where we didn't have anything on Raw because they're SmackDown guys, so we can't really talk about anything that happened after this. But we shall see. We shall see where they go with them all when SmackDown happens. What are we on? Is it tomorrow night? Is it Thursday today? I think it is. So tomorrow night we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
tomorrow night. Yeah.
So the next match was Lyra Valkyria. To my surprise, she defeated Becky Lynch and retained her Women's Intercontinental Championship. I'll go first with this one. I thought this was match of the night. I thought this was a fantastic match. Becky beat the crap out of Lyra. Beat the crap out of Lyra. Lyra was, I don't know whether she injured it. Well, I don't know what she did with her nose, whether she broke it or something happened, but she was holding that nose like no one's business. But it was a great match, and when you're talking about Becky being a heel, I thought she was proper healing up in this match, and she did a real good job. She was doing anything to try and win the match. And it was a real good, really good. I thought the near falls in this match was really good. Because I think Lyra kicked out of 2 manhandle slams. That after that second one, I was certain that Becky was going to win, but nope, Lyra kicked out that one. That one got me. I've got to say. But yeah, obviously Becky going for the chair and the exposed turnbuckle, all those moments. I thought this match was really good. I thought it played very well with Becky being a heel, and also it played really well into just showcasing Lyra. Like I said, these last few weeks have done, for me anyway, done so well for Lyra. I thought she was great on the microphone, on the couple of times that she was on the microphone in the build-up, and then in this match itself, I thought she showcased what she could do. Becky's done her job here, but I think the whole idea was Becky to put over Lyra, and I think she's done it. Lyra's definitely coming out much better than she did going into this feud, so they might continue the feud, don't get me wrong, it might continue here, but for this first match, I thought it was really good. Very, very good. Well, I'll go into Becky Lynch's heel promo after you give your thoughts, Scott. But yeah, very good match. My match of the night, and by far the best women's Intercontinental Championship match ever to exist. So yeah, I thought it was great. Very, very well done to both girls. They both did their job, laid it all on the line, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, great match. What did you think, Scott?
Yes, the greatest women's IC match of all time, aka what, 6 to 8 months or something like that. So they easily, what they've done with it up to this point has been nothing. Just like what they've done with Lyra has been nothing. So it's amazing they actually gave a damn once they brought Becky into the picture. That's very surprising. Which might show maybe just how weak the women's division is that it took bringing Becky to get to this point. But I guess we've got to work on that. But yeah, I think this is match of the night, to be honest. Just pure wrestling match. I thought it's absolutely killed it. It was surprisingly, I shouldn't say it was surprisingly good because we knew it was going to be good, but I just didn't expect it to be as good as we got it. But Becky really helped make the match, man. She's such a good heel. And she was really going for it. She was talking trash. She was rubbing Lara's face into the mat, arguing with the ref when she was getting 2 counts. I'm going to go at the crowd. Got a chair out to distract the ref so she could unbuckle the pad. And then she hit Lara into the pad and did a manhandle slam. And still only got a 2 count. I guess that moment could have been like, the buckle and a finisher, and she kicking out, and she already kicked out a finisher. Maybe it's a little too much there, but other than that, it was a really great job there. Becky really sold it and made Lara look like $1 million. It was Becky's heel work that really sold the match, and Lara too was getting really frustrated. I forget at what point exactly Lara's nose got did in. I think that just adds to the match really, and it's like she just barely survived. They kind of show that really. She only won by just a roll up. She just survived Becky rather than beat her. Terrific job. it made both women look amazing. And you know, Becky gets kind of heat saying like she doesn't put women over enough. It's like, all right, maybe she's not like the top person you think of putting women over, but I don't think she's the worst. She's not like Charlotte, for crying out loud. And she's doing a great job here. And maybe this Becky return, this heel run she's doing, maybe it is her starting to put over more talent. It feels like Becky's getting further and further away from WWE. But she's starting off blazing. I tell you what a way to do it. And Lyra really needed this. She really did. So held to the year. I don't think the feud's stopped here, but I think it has paused because I think Lyra really did get hurt there. So that's why we didn't see her in the segment on the Raw after. Like Becky just has to kind of stretch things out a little bit until Lyra returns. But this match around was so good, and I would love a rematch, or maybe another match with a stipulation or something like that. I could see 3 matches getting done between these two women. I think they could do a terrific stuff doing 3 matches. And then maybe the 3rd match could be a stipulation or something like that. But hell to the year, man. Really great stuff. Best IC belt match, hands down. And just hopefully the momentum for both Lara and the belt carries on from here, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Amazing match. I can feel the rant. I can feel a rant coming on. Because I'm thinking about obviously the other side, which I had this rant the last time I was on podcast, but I feel like I need to do it again because they've done nothing. So let me just first quickly go into Becky's promo on Raw. I thought it was great. Very well explained why she turned heel, basically saying that when she was obviously on the come up, everyone was behind her, supporting her, and then she started to win. And then people turn on her. That's because people are not winners in real life and they can't relate to her anymore. I thought it was a great promo. It's definitely based in real life, and I'm sure actual frustrations that the girl has, because, yeah, you go online, there's so many people calling her Becky Hogan and so many different things, and I'm sure she truly feels that way. And I think, as you said before, Scott, with Cena, like, I'm sure he feels the way that he does with his heel stuff, the stuff that he's saying. It brings out people as great at, like, you know, when people are playing on their actual true emotions, it just feels real and it feels great and it comes off natural. So I thought her promo on Raw was fantastic. I thought it was going to build up to something else, like, because it was just literally a heel promo, and there weren't. I thought maybe Bayley would come out, maybe we'd get a bit of Lyra, but Lyra's off selling what she done, and I like the fact that Becky's like, well, I didn't really lose because I'm here and I'm here, and Lyra's not. So very good stuff. Yeah, it definitely feels like from that heel promo that we will be getting another match. I'm there with you. I would do it for like 3 matches. Next match, Becky wins, and then the final match, either you put Becky over again or you have Lyra win and come out with the belt, whatever. But whatever they do, I feel like, yeah, Becky has really, really done well with putting Lyra on the map here. Let's just hope that momentum can continue after this feud and that Lyra doesn't fall back into whatever that black hole is that loads of people are in. And let's hope that they can keep, focusing on her. Do what you're doing here. Give her promos. Give her, character development stuff and good feuds like this. Like this feud between her and Becky feels personal. It feels like, it's not had the greatest of build beforehand. Like, yeah, we knew they were friends, but you could have told this story a bit better where, Becky came back and maybe you spent a couple of months of building to the Becky heel turn. You did it straight away, which I'm not that mad about, but it could have been told a bit better, I feel. But ever since the heel turn, I think they've been smashing it. And let's continue to smash it, yes. But yeah, so the rant, I needed to have a little bit of rant just because otherwise I don't see where this would fit in for the rest of this conversation or this podcast.
Oh, so yeah.
I need to rant. Basically, it's just going to be a repeat of my rant last time. Let's go over all the things I said there. Positivity towards the Intercontinental, or the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra, Becky, so much positive there. Now let's go over to the other side. Let's go over to Zelina Vega and her United States Championship run. And I think people are going to start thinking that I hate Zelina. And I said, I don't hate Zelina. I hate the booking. I hate what the hell they're doing with her and what's going on over there. Like this week, the last SmackDown, not this week, but last SmackDown, Selena came out again to no pop. Absolutely no pop. And whose fault is it? Triple H and the booking. Like, what are you doing? Like, you see what you're doing with Lyra on the other side, right? You're giving her promos. You're having her going into a proper personal feud. And everyone's getting over. You see people are really positive about her online. The people have been saying she was quite bland before, but before this Becky Lynch feud, but now she's feeling like we're actually giving her a character, and she's actually we're all caring about her. And then you go over to the other side, and with Selena, you're not doing none of that. With Selena, you're just giving her a match after match after match after match with Chelsea or one of her services, and there's no promos between each one. There's no nothing. It's just literally every week is a repeat of a match. It's just the next match. Oh, this week you're going to face Chelsea. The next week you're going to face Chelsea. This time you're going to face Chelsea for the belt. Oh, next week after that you're going to face Piper. Oh, the week after that you're going to have a tag team match with Piper and Chelsea. Okay, but where's the character development? Like, has Selena told anyone how she feels since winning the title? I have no idea how she feels. Obviously she feels a bit happy. But can you actually emotionally explain to us what's going on? Like my biggest example is look at Chelsea Green, right? Since she's lost the belt, her character, you can tell, is mourning. She's wearing the black clothes. She's had little segments backstage where she's like got candles and stuff because she's lost her belt. And that's all character work. That's not even like much character work. That's not like spending like 10 minutes cutting a promo. That's just like little tiny things you're doing for Chelsea where you're like, yes, you know exactly how Chelsea is feeling about the belt. Selena, I have no idea how she feels. She just looks, acts, and is exactly the same from before winning the title to winning the title. Like, there's just no emotional connection. I don't understand what WWE is doing with her. They must know. They must know that she's not over. And I feel like it's quite embarrassing when she comes out and there's just no pop. No one does. I think you need to change her song as well because it just sounds like the SmackDown theme song. So it just sounds like the exact same song. But A, you need to change her song. And B, you need to start giving her some promos. Like, actually tell us how you feel. How did you feel about losing to Chelsea Green every week and getting cheated out of it? I've never got a segment about that. I don't know how she felt. She just kept constantly getting rematches for no reason. And then tell us how you feel about winning. This is nothing. I know she had that thing where she went, I think her dad died in the 9/11. So she went there and paid respect with the belt. Great stuff. But can we actually get like a promo based on that? Can we get anything rather than just the commentary telling us that she done that? Like, come on. It's not hard. And then this week you had to, for some reason, you got brought back Alexa Bliss and it was her tag team partner this week. Like, Selena had a mysterious tag team partner and it was Alexa Bliss. Why? What the hell does Alexa Bliss have to do with Zelina Vega? Have they ever been friends? They're acting like they've been friends for a long time. Last time we saw Alexa, she was doing these weird, spooky things with the White Six. What's going on here? I don't understand
faces,
it.
son.
Yeah, they're just faces. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Just give us some decent promos with the girl. Like next week, I guarantee next week it will be Selena, or this SmackDown, it'll be Selena versus, I don't know, Alba Fire. Or it'll be Selena versus Piper Niven again. Or it'll be Selena versus Chelsea Green again. And there'll just be no goddamn development on her character. Like I said, here's another perfect example, right? What I said, right, with Malachi Black, right? I said we had that match that he had with The Miz, and I said next thing I want to see is a promo from him. I don't want to see him in a match with Carmelo Hayes. We got that match, but we did earlier in the night get a promo from him explaining what he is and why he's back. Which was perfect. Okay, now I understand his character, what he's all about. I've never got that once with Selena, and she's been there for so long. Give me some character development with her, please. I don't want to hate her. I don't hate her. I just don't care, and I feel like it's embarrassing that you're pushing her above other people who are so over. And this is where my rant's going to go on to the White Six. The White Six, every time they come out, they get a huge pop. Like multiple times over the last couple of weeks. I've really been wanting to see them, but multiple times I was like, just imagine if the glitches started happening now. Like the crowd would pop. Like one thing I was thinking was that like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker when they took out when they were doing the Jey Uso match. No, it wasn't that one. It was the first week when they took out CM Punk, and then Roman Reigns came out, and then they took out Roman. And then I was like, just imagine if the glitch, like the lights turned off, the glitches happened, and then you had like the White Six face off with the Seth Rollins, Braun. People would lose their poops. But instead, no.
Insane.
But instead, no. We focus on this girl who has never been over. We're giving her a belt over Chelsea Green, who is over, who gets cheered. Matt, do you remember when she won the belt? How over she was? Somebody that knows
She's
how to
still over now.
That's what I mean. She still is. Somebody that knows how to tell a story. But no, we're not going to give her the belt. We're not going to let her retain it. Instead, we're going to give it to somebody with no pop, no character, and it's not her fault. My main focus is Triple H's fault, or the booking team, whoever's responsible for booking her. This is pathetic. You've showed us on Raw with Lyra that you can do it, so just do it. I've had enough. Don't give me this SmackDown, Selena versus somebody, and there's no promo, there's nothing from her explaining why she's happy, like just how she's feeling. All I want to know is how she's feeling. I have no idea. And there's a reason why every time she comes out, there's no one popping for her. She doesn't get a single cheer when she comes out. And she shouldn't be like that. She's the United States champion. And with
it is awkward as hell when she comes out.
Exactly. And the fact that she's the champion lowers the prestige. I know it ain't really got much prestige anyway, but you're trying to establish this belt and put it on somebody where no one reacts when she comes out. Imagine a casual viewer watching this show. Like maybe it's their first time watching WWE. They put it on, Selena comes out, and no one cheers. And you're like, wait a minute, this is meant to be the champion? Pathetic. You've shown us that you can do it with Lyra. Do it with Selena. That's the end of my rant. Jesus Christ.
Feels fun to get that all out. It felt good, yes, very good.
And don't get me wrong, I've got another rant coming a bit later as well about other things. But yeah, it just irritates me. That's been the issue. I'm loving what they do with Lyra. Absolutely loving what they're doing with Becky. I think that's great. And the fact that I'm seeing this happen makes me go, well, they can do it. So why are they not doing it on the other side? It winds me up seeing that they can do it, but they don't do it. They're choosing not to do it. That's the thing that's winding me up. Anyway, rant over. What did you think about like the Becky promo and any of my rant? Let me know.
That's quite a lot there to think about. Well, if I was to go to a real life element of it and the White Six and all that sort of stuff, in terms of Becky's promo, yeah, it was really good because it felt real. And, she probably did see stuff online when she won the belt. What was it, like a Battle Royale? One of the Raws after Mania or something like that, because Rhea got hurt and everyone was annoyed. And you could have just let Liv win that, to be honest. But she probably looked at all that and then she fueled that into her promo. And maybe there is a load of truth to it on why she stepped away and stuff like that. So that side of it's great. And we've been getting that a lot from wrestlers. It's a part of this whole thing Triple H is doing with we're tuning in more into real life, trying to make it feel more real. So that's a good side of it. And then the bad side of it is just, completely destroying kayfabe, doing these new documentaries like, was it Unreal or something like that, like lifting the curtain. I'm just totally against that. It just ruins the very element of wrestling. You could have some programs like that giving a bit more detail, like kind of if you got a movie DVD and they talked about the setting up of the film. But I feel like it's too much spoiling the illusion kind of deal. I absolutely hate. And another element of this is just it feels like we don't get these kind of like crazier gimmicks or darker gimmicks or weirder gimmicks or deal, which I think is affecting the Wyatts. I feel like maybe Triple H. I mean, it's just theorizing. Like, who knows what time could tell, and maybe they'll be on our television again, and they'll be like ruling the roost, and we're loving them. But it just feels like maybe there's a bit of hesitation on Triple H because he wants to keep more of a real feel to it, and keeping the Wyatts at bay. Because of that, because it feels too, it too out there a little. Which I feel like you could still connect to it and make it feel real because it's more of a psychological thing. It's not like an Undertaker, otherworldly, dead man kind of thing. The whole thing is more psychological than anything. So I feel like you can make it work. And they were over as hell when they first came. People were loving them, but just got nothing. Nothing at all. It just feels like keeping more of the keeping to the more of the real aspect of it, and feel like gimmicks like this making it feel like they don't have a place when they absolutely do have a place. I don't understand why we're seeing Alexa coming out and then like she's getting completely shunned, seeing nothing of her, even though she got probably the biggest pop at the Rumble. She's talking to Charlotte for there. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know what Charlotte and Alexa have anything to do with each other, especially since one's a face and one's a heel. But then here she is being Selena Vega's tag partner. It's just like, this is what you're doing with Alexa? What an absolute waste. I mean, people suggesting she'd be the leader of the Wyatts. I'm not really for that, but I'd at least take that if it means having the Wyatts on my screen rather than what we're doing here. But Dan's absolutely right. What is the bloody connection between these two? It's just completely random. It's just face knowing face. It makes absolutely no sense. Meechin or BFAB, sure, but I don't know why Alexa would be here. No glitches, no nothing. It's just, yeah, just Vega feuding with Chelsea for the bazillionth time. I don't know how many months this has been going on now. It's complete sour fest, just dull as dishwater. Waste of time television. Chelsea's been the only good thing with it, like doing her morning thing. But Chelsea should still be the champion. This is just an absolute mockery of championships. This one's clearly the IC and the US women's belts have been brought in just for the sake for the women. They didn't have any plans for them, like no big schemes or some sort of layout of who the champions are going to be from month to month, or at least a years in advance or something like that. It was a token. It's just a little consolation prize because the men's got one, so the women's got give them their belts as well. But you didn't have any plans for them, and now look what's happening. Bella's dishwater feuds, then got someone like Chelsea Green being completely misused. I think she should be way higher up in the card than this, way better, looked better than this. She should be a way bigger star than she is because she's leaps and bounds more in tune with her character than anyone else. I think she's got going with the Hervis and all this stuff. I think it's very entertaining, good stuff. But you're pushing them to the side for someone who's not getting any reaction whatsoever. Like, how does that make any sense? Are you focusing too much on the social media side, too much online, and taking that as fact? Because you have to consider like the real life reactions, the crowds, and how they're taking it all in. But no, they're just ignoring that. It feels like they're just going on Facebook or Twitter or something and going based on that. Though, it's been a few weeks now and just getting absolutely nothing. You almost want to like have that fake audio crowd cheer put in just to make it feel less awkward when she comes out. But for the love of God, just give the belt back to Chelsea. Have Chelsea hold on to it for like forever until you have someone worthy to take it from her. But I agree, this is an absolute misstep. And it would be the same for the IC belt if Becky wasn't there, to be honest. It only feels like Becky's been involved that the IC belt's been booked much better with Lyra. Who knows where we would have been if it was just Bayley, really. They probably would have forgotten about Bayley versus Lyra if Bayley was the one turning heel, I feel like it's for Becky's sake that everything looks much, much better here. So it just kind of goes to show that the women's division still needs a lot of work, still needs a lot of thinking about. And yeah, these two belts have just been absolute flops until recently with the IC one. So we have to keep our eye on these because they're doing a terrible job with them, absolutely terrible. As a waste of creating two championships, in my opinion. Hopefully, after this Lara Becky feud, they carry on adding some prestige to the belt. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't get me started on the women tag team belts. They're just like nothing. They got to put these women better, man. But yeah, the Becky promo was very good, and how she kind of started like revealing why she turned and having to go at the fans and saying they were with her when she rid through all the highs, but then kind of ditched her when she was on top because they like failure, basically saying they like to support failure and that. And now everything she's going to do is going to be like literally like everything they say about her. Yeah, that's what you want me to be. Well, that's who I'm going to be. You want me to be an arsehole? I'm going to be an arsehole. I thought it was really good. I mean, no one touches Becky on the mic in the women's division. No one. Just like no one can come close to her. Which is a shame because you don't have too many exchanges. At least Lara hung in there, so you had a good exchange here. But you'd hope there'd be more women that can talk as well as Becky. But he's hoping that will change in the future. We're watching NXT as well. And he's like, maybe a Jada Parker or something like that could hang in there with her, but we'll see. But this was very good promo, very good follow up. She kind of had to just kind of stretch things out whilst we're figuring out what's going on with Lyra and the nose, but I'm sure Lyra will come back soon. Then we can carry on the feud. And if not, and Lyra needs a bit more time, maybe Becky needs to feud with someone else until Lyra comes back and they can carry on. We'll have to see. But yeah, this was a good follow-up for sure. But man, just work on these women, man. You've got to work on the booking, lay out a plan what you're doing with these championships, because it just highlights this week booking. And get a feel for the crowds from week to week and don't just bury your head in social media. Clearly the vibe, the real life vibe physically from people in the crowds, they're not feeling what's going on with Selena. So you've got to go back to the drawing board. I see potential in Selena, but at the moment I blame both Triple H and her because Selena could shake it up a bit more, maybe stand out a bit more from the crowd. But yeah, I'm not holding out for that anytime soon. I guess we'll see.
Tell you what, the thing that cracks me up is the fact that I get more character from the little pre-interview segments that I see when I'm watching those WrestleMania matches between two people I don't even know about. I get more character from them, from their pre-match interviews than what I get from Selena. So that shows you something. The other thing I want to say, and talking about pops and stuff like that, one of the biggest pops we got just pre-Mania, even at Mania, was Karrion Kross, right? And he cut that massive promo. It was that shoot work promo that he cut, which was fantastic. He got himself over. He even became the highest merch seller on WWE.com, right? And then what have they done?
I didn't know that.
And what have they done? Absolutely nothing with him. This week he was backstage on Raw. This week he was backstage in the background somewhere giving some T-shirts to the New Day. That's what he was doing on this week. And he was on main event. What is going on? This guy, Karrion Kross, like ever since he feuded with the Whites, have been that's when my eyes opened to him. I thought it was fantastic during that feud, and a lot of that stuff is his own personal promos that he does online. For some reason, WWE don't show that. Like he does fantastic promos online when he's involved in a feud, and you see his promos on his social media. They're fantastic, but for some reason, WWE doesn't play into that. WWE doesn't play into it. I don't understand why. And like people are loving him. He's getting pops. He got spooed by getting not winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. As soon as he was eliminated, he got booed because people want to see him. He got cheered when he appeared in the AJ and Logan Paul match. And then, as I said, his top became the highest selling merch thing a couple of weeks ago on WWE.com. And what have you done with him? Nothing. He hasn't appeared. What, you sort of set up a little thing between him and Logan that they were going to have a feud. And you dropped that because Logan's now going after the world champ. So what the hell were you doing with him? I don't understand. Like, 1 minute they're going like, you hear Triple H on interviews going, oh yeah, no, social media ain't a thing. No, we can't follow what they say on social media. Blah 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 blah. Which is okay, fine. Obviously not. And then you go, oh, the reason why we're pushing Jay, like, yeah, real social media ain't real because in the audience, the crowd, they're eating all day, every day. So clearly, that's the ones that we have to. Push the people that get connected to the audience. Okay, fine. Then why the hell is Selena Vega getting pushed? Why is Karrion Kross not getting pushed? Like, I don't understand it. It's only when it fits the narrative is what they go with. Like, is what their story is. And then, like, there's no social media ain't a real thing. And then you see this week, this clip with Jey Uso and Logan Paul was the highest viewed social media clip. And you're like, I thought social media weren't a real thing. I don't know.
No, they tout that all the time about viewership and all that. And they kind of, yeah, I was saying about, like, are they just pushing Selena because they're just looking on social media? But then, yeah, it's like you said, Triple H is just shitting all over that. And it's like, no, we don't listen to those reviewers there. I can't believe he did that interview.
But the thing is, it's not, though. It's not. Because when Chelsea Green lost the belt, a lot of people were unhappy about it. So he's not listening to social media. There obviously is that small audience. Where, I knew you could do it, Selena. Oh, my girl finally did it. Like, you had those people. But the most majority is like, why the hell did Chelsea just lose that match to Selena? Like, so I don't know what who he's listening to with Selena. I have no idea.
She didn't just lose to her. She lost to her 3 times. There's like a count out, then a roll up, and then beat her for the belt. It's like Selena's just wiping them all out. Just Selena and her crew. It's like absolutely just not burying, but it's just like they just keep taking loss after loss. And it's just like, what is the point? She's taken the belt from you already. What is there to achieve here? Why do we have to keep having Selena beat them down endlessly? Why can't we at least move on, or at least give the belt back to Chelsea? I don't know what's in Triple H's head that's thinking, I've got to push Selena Vega. Like, she has to be at the top of this mid card right now. It's like, why? What evidence do you have for that? Is it biased? Is it just your personal preference? Because there's nothing really to suggest really why you should be booking her. The crowd reactions are terrible. I just don't understand.
Maybe it was something to do with bringing Malachi back. Maybe, Alistair Black. Maybe he said, "Yeah, I only come back if you give her the belt." And it's like, "All right, we will do. Yeah, go." I don't know. Point. I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea. I just think it's like I said. I don't blame the talent. I blame the booking, because on the other side, you proved to me with a bit of good booking, you can actually do well with these people. Yeah, Selena maybe could stand up and go, can we actually do something a bit different here? Because obviously nothing's happening. No one cares about me. Can we actually do something here? But obviously at the end of the day, it's creative that have the final say. Triple H has the final say. And these are the geniuses that should be booking and know how to book wrestling. So fucking do it. That's all I can say. Do it. My main blame is on Triple H and the creative, because your job is to get people over. Even not great wrestlers. Your job is to get these people over with character and promos and stuff like that. Play to people's strengths. Jesus Christ. It's not hard. I've showed this is just a bit of behind the scenes with me and Scott, but I play like this universe mode in the new WWE games. And last year during the WWE games, I pushed Natalya and Tamina for like final women championship runs, and I normally create promos and stuff, and I send them over to Scott. And I think Scott will say to you that I booked them two quite well, probably better than they've ever been booked in WWE. So you could do it just with a bit of, character development, story. I don't understand it. So I'm sorry, everyone. I know we've been on this rant for about 20 minutes. It's just had to be
Well,
said.
that's
I've been so frustrated with this, and seeing that just to continue. Like ever since Selena won that belt, there's nothing has changed. As you said, she's still feuding with Chelsea Green. Like they've done nothing. This is why I want Naomi to win that belt as soon as possible. Just get Naomi away from Jade and bloody just give her that belt. So then at least we got somebody who's over with the belt. It doesn't make sense why you give it to somebody who just has no pop. I don't understand it.
no. All I say is three names: Uncle Howdy, Carmelo Hayes, and Karrion Cross. The way they've been treated, just absolutely sinful. Sinful that these three guys aren't higher or at least proper mid carders at this point. Um, there'll be other names, but just those are the three that really stand out to me. It's just like, what the hell are we doing? It's just like those are three great talents, and we should be way further ahead with them at this point than we actually are. But it feels like they're not paying attention to them at all. So it's just you notice certain things and you see the cracks and that. It's just like you really got some work to do, and they really got to push the guys that we know deserve to be pushed better than they are.
Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely. I don't understand how the White Six are not on our TV every week. I don't understand how Alexa, who came out of the Royal Rumble, over as all hell, and he started doing like weird glitches things every time she appeared on screen. And then guess what you do? Just instantly remove her off TV for like 2 months. Why? Why? But then we're pushing Selena Vega. I don't understand it. I do not understand any of this. But anyway, I had to have a rant there. As I said, I think I've got another one coming in a little bit, but there are little moments I am starting to. There's just things that are starting to really irritate me with WWE. I was on a much more of a higher level with things last year. This time last year, when it was like Backlash last year, well, it weren't that great being booked then, but I had a lot more what's the word? Optimistic.
Optimism.
Yes, I had a lot more of that last year compared to what I do right now. I am seeing massive cracks with these creative and the way that Triple H book things. But
It's not perfect.
we'll get there. We'll get to the next rant very soon. So let's get into the next match anyway. Let's move this forward because we've been on that same subject for like 20 to 30 minutes. Let's move on. Next match was Dominic Mysterio defeating Penta and retaining his WWE Continental Championship. Do you want to go first with this one, Jack?
Ill to the year, Penta and Dominic. Yeah, I've enjoyed this. It was the shortest match of the lot. I think it was. I don't even know if it was 10 minutes, to be honest. Like I said, the build was practically nothing. It was just kind of just a follow up from what's going on from Mania. But I was interested to see how Dominic would do, and Dominic is still over as anything. It seems to be like people seem to be cheering him more on the pay-per-views than on Raw, but he's still over. And it's just we're getting into a weird dynamic now with the Judgment Day, where it's kind of just like there's still a heel group, but it looks like you're trying to part Finn from them, but Domin's the one that's getting the face vibes. So is Finn going to be kicked out as a heel and the rest of the group goes face? I don't know. What's his name? Carlito kind of naturally can be a face because he's funny. And I guess Liv, what's her name, can be face. So maybe it could go that way. But yeah, they can't ignore it forever. And obviously, Domi's getting major face vibes, which is just crazy because you you could even say like a year ago he's getting massive heel vibes. It's like insane. So it's amazing how far we've come and seen the journey of Dom. Absolutely loving it. And like I said during our Mania review, he's absolutely deserved winning that belt. He's really put the work in. And yeah, he's got that emotional connection. Selena Vega, complete opposite there. So yeah, but the name value of this match says it all. It's always great to see Penta. And yeah, it was a nice, fun match. Good back and forth between the two. What was it? That suicide dive turned into a DDT outside the ring from Dom. Woo! That was sick. That was a sick move. Probably one of the best moves of the night, if not like the most highlighted move of the night. I can think of one other later on, but damn, that was really good. Tom's really improving the ring. You can really see it the more that time goes by. And they're taking him a bit more seriously. He's not just like the weak part of Judgment Day where he always loses, or they just sell him to Gunther every week or something like that. They're taking him more seriously. And I'm enjoying every moment of it. So yeah, it's very good. And then, as you expect, they got the antics. Judgment Day coming, interrupting, and Finn was taking an awful long time to give a chair shot to Penta. He's like hesitating. He's just like, oh, is he trying to screw this up for Dom? Like, which of course I don't really care about because this has been dragging on way too long. It's like, on pin Finn at Mania and screwed with him. It's like, if that doesn't really give a rift between these guys, I don't know what will. So this is way dragging out way too long. I just wanted to end. When's it going to end? But nice for what it was in this match. But who's the one that really causes Penta the loss? El Grande Americano with the mega headbutt, probably with the metal in his mask. And then he's just hiding behind the apron, just kind of just posing, laying on the floor. Absolutely love it. So yeah, they've just been building this thing between these two, and talk a bit more afterwards what they do on Raw. But L to the good stuff. I don't think Penta's the one that's going to unmask El Grande, but I think it's just going to be a step on the road until we get to that point, probably till SummerSlam or something like that. But yeah, nice little thing here. You're carrying on the feud with Penta and El Grande, and I guess you're carrying on the stuff between Dom and Finn, even though I want that to end. And Dominic retains, so that's good. I don't expect Dom to hold this for long, maybe up to SummerSlam or something like that, so for a few months. But yeah, this was keeping up with the vibe of the pay-per-view. Good fun, good bit of antics there. It was a short little thing, so yeah, I was feeling it. What do you think, chap?
I've got to say, since El Grande Americano got involved in this match, the match obviously automatically 10 out of 10. So, best match of the night. Sorry, women. Best match of the night, this one, absolutely.
Sorry, Cena and Orton.
sorry, everyone else. As soon as you got El Grande Americano, it's 10 out of 10. But no, the match was okay. To me, it felt like a Raw match, especially because it ended with a screwy finish as well. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable match. I think these two have a good chemistry together. Penta and Dom, I think they're great. Yeah, Dom for years. We've seen him grow for so many years. It's just good to finally see him achieve a championship, and he's over as well as sort of a face with the crowd, which is very, very interesting to see, considering before, a year ago, he was getting booed out of the building. He couldn't even say a word, but now he's over as well. I'm very interested to see how they're going to, when they eventually do this split between him and Finn, how they're going to do it. Are they going to do a swerve and have them kick out Dom or something like that? Because you're going to have to go with Dom as a face, so I have no idea. If you asked me about 4 weeks ago, I would have said Finn would be the one that turns face, but here I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Yeah, I thought the match was good. I thought I liked the suicide dive into the DDT. Great spot there. Another thing I was going to say, which cracked me up, is Penta, obviously, he does this Mexican destroyer. I love how WWE is ending matches with that now. That's kind of what Penta's finisher is now. And it's protecting that move, but then you go over and watch AEW and they do Canadian Destroyers every other match. And there's kick outs left, right, and centre. And that's a great looking move as well. The Canadian Destroyer is a move that should be a finisher, but for some reason, everyone kicks out of it over in AEW. Just left, right, centre, kick out. But here, at least, they're trying to kind of protect it with Penta, which is very enjoyable to see, yes. But yeah, this match obviously ended screwy with El Grande Americano coming out and headbutting Penta, which obviously is leading to this feud between Penta and El Grande Americano. Don't know why they all have to go through Chad first, which is such a shame, because Chad, still to this day, deserved the WrestleMania match but didn't get one. Shame, very shame. But I like that. Obviously, this has been set up. It was set up before this match as well with Chad and Penta, so it makes sense. It all made sense. It just felt sort of like we would see this on any Raw, so I don't know why it was here. Poor Penta, I will say, he's been getting a few losses as of late. I'm surprised. I thought I would have went with Penta here to win because we need to do the split. I would have had Finn screw Dom out. And I don't think Dom loses much from just having like a month or 3-week title reign. But obviously we didn't go there.
Surprised you said that. I thought you wanted Dom to hold on to it a little longer. But I can see where you're coming from that, you know.
Well,
Enter would obviously be a good one holding it.
To me, as long as you protect them via storyline, I don't really care how lengthy the title reigns are, because to me, it's more about story than lengths of title reigns. Like, as we kind of discussed last time, where it's like, what is the most important thing? Is it like the storytelling of the title reign, or is it the length of the title reign? Is it how many titles you get? No one knows. But to me, it just makes... That's what I was saying about Jacob for 2 as well. I wouldn't mind him losing it in 3 weeks, because storyline-wise, as long as he gets screwed out of it, and then obviously they can win the title again down the line. It's not like Dom and Jacob, they're very young, so it's not like they're never going to win a belt ever again. So for their first title reigns, I wouldn't mind it. As long as... I'd rather see Judgment Day split up than Dom having a long-ass title reign. I just want Judgment Day to split up by this point. But
yeah, I can't blame you. Yeah,
and also,
I guess it depends on the situation. I mean, if it was like Cody beating Roman for the belt and he only held it for like a month, I feel like, well, that was a bloody waste, wasn't it? So I guess it kind of depends on the situation. But you know, this is nowhere near that, so I could definitely see Dom losing it a lot earlier.
But to me, it depends who he lost. It depends. Say if Cody lost it to The Rock a month later, and then Cody beat The Rock after that, then I'm all for it, because it made his second title reign bigger. Obviously, he faced AJ the month after. There was no way he was losing it to AJ, because then that would make it go, storylines wise, that doesn't make sense. So it's like this.
Then people will be pissed.
It's like this Cena storyline. Like, I think it's going to go to SummerSlam, or at some point it's going to be him and Cody again, and Cody's going to take the belt off of him. But it's just whenever that's going to happen, whether that happened a month later or 5 months later. Well, it doesn't really matter, as long, to me, as the storyline makes sense. And especially with the Solo and Jacob and Judgment Day thing, like, it needs to come to an end. So I'm like, I'm willing to sacrifice the length of these title reigns to get these things over and done with. So, but yeah, that's just me. That's just how I look at wrestling and how I look at things and how I would book things. But yeah, Penta, I think is ready for at least an IC title or something soon. Maybe they'll join in forces with his brother Ray Felix, and they'll go after the tag titles at some point soon. But I think you definitely need to give Penta a belt at some point. I think they've booked him really well since he's come in, and now I feel like he's ready for some sort of title, whether it's a tag title, whether it's a mid-card title at some point. I'm all for it. Unfortunately, I think he's going to lose to El Grande Americano as well, because I don't see him beating El Grande, because I think this story's going to go on.
No one beats El Grande.
Exactly.
No one.
So I think Penta's going to about to suffer another loss as well. But again, all for storyline. I think eventually we have to get to the point where all the luchadors turn on El Grande and everyone just beats him down at one point. That's got to happen at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, no, overall, as I said, it was just basically a Raw match on Backlash. It was a fun match, nothing to write home about. I think, to me, this was the worst match of the night. But that's not to say it was a bad match. It felt like a Raw match. It didn't feel like anything special outside of that. So to me...
it was definitely the worst. Yeah.
So to me, overall, decent match, but yeah. I'm trying to remember what happened on Raw. Can you remind me?
When it Penta versus Chad Gable, and Chad used the Canadian Destroyer to beat Chad.
Yeah, Penta did, yeah.
Yeah, Penta did, yeah. I think that's what's happened.
What happened to the Judgment Day? What did they do? They must have done something. Some sort of tease again, I'm sure.
There's just some silly gimmick of JD telling Dominic about the time zones and demonstrating that, and then a little tension with Finn, but it was Finn and AJ, wasn't it? Then
Yeah. So it didn't really
it's
nothing really developed on Raw really for either man, apart from obviously Penta beating Chad, and that will obviously lead to El Grande Americano versus Penta at some point. But yeah, there weren't really much storytelling going forward
very
from him.
forgetful stuff.
Yeah,
It's just nothing there, unfortunately.
very basic, and that's another problem I have with Triple H. So much basic stuff going from A to B, nothing that creative, just bare minimum effort. That's why I feel like a lot of Triple
recycling.
H stuff. Yeah, well, we'll get into that. That's basically sort of what my next rant's going to be very shortly. But let's get into the next match. I'll go first this time. Gunther defeated Pat McAfee. This match, I will say, I was looking forward to it. I weren't expecting some technical masterclass wrestling, but I thought the match told a solid story. It told what the story I wanted it to tell. I really liked it. Story base wise, I thought it was great. Wrestling wise, it didn't really matter because it was all solely story. As I said, this felt more like a segment than a wrestling match. But I thought it was very good. I liked the story that was being told. Pat McAfee trying to survive. He was getting his ass beat. There was many times where Gunther could have beaten him, but Gunther was just being all cocky. And then you got Michael Cole involved, and I thought they worked well. They had that moment where Pat McAfee knocked down Gunther, went for the pin, and then Michael Cole held down Gunther's leg, and I thought, oh, this could be it. And then no, it wasn't. And then in the end, Gunther wins by knocking out Pat McAfee with a sleeper hold. It weren't as brutal as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to get like blood potentially. I thought it was going to be like a proper beatdown. But the way they told the story, I weren't too mad about. I thought the match itself was a very good story. It was a very good storytelling match. And it was quite believable. I don't understand. There's a lot of people online saying that this made Gunther look weak, but I don't agree because I'm like, Gunther could have won the match at any time. I don't know what people are saying. It's the fact that he was being all cocky that was the reason why the match lasted so long, and was the reason why Pat McAfee got a couple of hope spots there. And you needed the hope spots. I feel like if it was just literally a squash beat down to Pat McAfee for like 10 minutes, it would have got a bit boring. And also those people that believe in, the more casual people that sort of love the good guys, hate the bad guys. You need to give them something to believe in as well. So I thought it was a perfect way to tell this story. Was the way it played out. I thought it was great, and I loved that Michael Cole did get involved as well. I thought he played his part perfectly. So yeah, it was very good. The bit I have an issue is the aftermath. So after the match. Pat McAfee, after being knocked out by the sleeper, ends up sort of waking up and getting up back on his feet, which I weren't a big fan of. And then Gunther sort of showed him a sign of respect, and I hate that as well. I feel like that's not part of Gunther's character, especially going into this match. That isn't part of Gunther's character. He was angry. He's just lost his world title. He should be a scary, angry monster right now. But no, instead, he's like, oh, I've got to show you some respect. Well done for hanging in there, Pat. Well done. And then he turns back into sort of angry Gunther again the night after, or on the Monday Night Raw. It doesn't make sense. To me, it sort of breaks Gunther's character. I don't want to see angry Gunther. I want to see this Gunther that's going around like we did that one week where he came out and just destroyed Pat McAfee and almost destroyed Michael Cole. Where's that Gunther? What is this? I'm not a big fan of it. I am not a big fan of it at all. And this is just going to quickly, I'll try and make sure this ain't as lengthy as my previous rant. But this makes me go into Triple H and his booking again. With, mate, I'll wait, because this is more about the aftermath. So I'll wait. I will wait before... I'll wait to go into the rant because I was about to go into it, but I've just realised it's more about what happened on Raw after, which we have not really spoke about. So the match itself, really good. Hated the aftermath. That's my opinion on this match. That's my what I feel. So Scott, you tell us how you feel, and then I will go into my big rant. Yes.
I feel it. Can't wait. Um, yeah, I very much enjoyed this. I thought it was good. It felt kind of special because you don't see something like this every day. We've seen a wrestler go for a commentator. Um, I hate Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. It's the worst commentary team in wrestling. As someone that watches WWE and AEW, out of all of it, so they're the worst. Probably NXT's the best. But yeah, Michael Cole feels like one of those people like a Cena or New Day or something like that, where it's just like they were shitted on and knew they were shit during the heyday, like years ago, and then for some reason, just because time passed, it they suddenly people start suddenly loving them. It's just like, why? They haven't changed. Well, at least New Day's changed, but damn.
One thing we've got to agree on though right now though is the best commentator in the game is Booker T when he's watching Stephanie Falkira give the devil kiss. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. That
Oh my
man.
God. That man is thirsty. He's a thirsty man, that Booker T. Unashamedly pervy, and no one tells him off for it. They just let him be as pervy as he wants. Love it. It makes you want Stephanie to stay in NXT because of that. But yeah, probably definitely NXT is the best commentary team around. Saying that though, I got to give Pat and Michael their due here. I thought they did a great job here. I thought they were very good and did great stuff for the story in this match, and really made it quite unique in this kind of setting here. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was longer than I thought it was going to be, and there's a lot more in it than I thought it was going to be. They really went a whole 9 yards of like, look, this commentary guy standing up to the, arsehole here, and trying to hang in there against the big beast. And like Dan said, for the casuals, that'd be like a great thing to watch on that side of things for sure. And yeah, I loved Michael Cole's element in this match. Yeah, I don't get when people are saying like Gunther got buried and that. Michael Cole was literally shouting out throughout the match. It's like, just pin him, just end the damn match. He was like saying that constantly. But Gunther wasn't, because he was playing with his food. He was messing around. He wasn't taking him seriously. And then, what you expect Pat to do nothing and the match ends in 1 minute. Then everyone will be going, well, what was the point of that? What was the point of having this match at all? You got to bring something to the table, man. Have some kind of story. And Pat had his moments and had his little jabs there. But even Gunther's trademark slaps, Pat was instantly falling to the ground every time he was getting chopped. Except for, I think, towards the end, he was hanging in there a bit more. Having a bit of a comeback there. But the whole dynamic really felt pretty damn electric, to be honest. And then great stuff with Michael holding Gunther's legs. That was the one moment I thought, no, you're not going to have Pat pin Gunther, no way. But the fact that he got me thinking that was like, all right, you really got me into it. I was feeling it. I would have ranted though if Gunther lost. I would have been like, what the hell? It's like, of course, story is king, but wrestling and booking also matters. You got to make your folks look strong. And having Gunther lose to Pat McAfee is like, holy shit. That would just be a big no. And Dan would probably feel the same. But no, he hung in there, and Gunther wiped him out. And yeah, I thought it was a very enjoyable match. And yeah, I thought it really stood out in the pay-per-view. Like, this was what Gunther was doing after losing the title. We'll probably remember this one. It was like a nice little highlight of Gunther's career, what he did with Pat there. Brief little thing. So I enjoyed this. The aftermath. I'm right there with Dan. It was awful. I'm the one thing, like, this is the thing I hate about pro wrestling, where it's just like they over deliver in the story and the promos, and it doesn't reflect in the match. Where they're saying like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to destroy you, and then it's like nothing like that in the match. It's like, even with Jey Uso, it's like, I'm going to pray to God of what I'm going to do to you. It's just like, didn't even get an ounce of blood in that Mania match. It didn't reflect anywhere of like, what Jey should have done to Gunther for messing with his brother. He basically was just doing a bunch of Gunther's moves. So But that you see that a lot in wrestling, like regardless of show, where they over deliver in the promo, but don't reflect it in the match. It's just that's the thing that I just hate. It's just like you're getting into the story, so let the story leak into the match and reflect what the wrestlers are going through. Can you imagine if it was Drew and Punk, and then they show respect after their Hell in the Cell, and be like, what the fuck? After all they did, or they didn't nearly destroy each other as much as they did. It was just basic moves. We would have been disappointed. Thank God that last match they had was such a triumph. So no, completely wrong. And it's messing with Gunther's character, man. It's just you're showing him as this like they've really amped up his heel gimmick, being mega arsehole, but then you see him doing this, give him respect and all that. It's just like, no, you need to be extra arsehole here. I'd expected him to like carry on beating them down. He attacks them after the match, and then someone runs in to stop Gunther. Just tease us who Gunther's next opponent is going to be, even if it's like a Goldberg or something like that. Or, not even him, but, something like that. Something that's linked with the story and how Gunther's feeling, whilst at the same time, not destroying your commentators, although I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. But, him just, I don't care if it's just not even a handshake, just that slight nod to both of them. I thought that kind of broke the immersion a bit. It's not in tune with the story that led to the match. He choked Pat out and sent him to hospital, and then after that, after all of that, it's just like, oh well, you did good there, so respect to you. So it's like crying out loud, man. Not good. Got to stay in tune with those characters, man. Even after the match. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that at all. Not good. I guess we'll talk about. Will lead to what Dan's going to say afterwards. I think, on the Raw after, I think Pat just came out and he just got respect. I think he just got some praise from the crowd and that, so I don't think there's much on his part. But I'll let Dan talk about what they're doing with Gunther, the Raw after. But in terms of this pay-per-view, I thought it was good. I thought it was very enjoyable, kind of gimmicky kind of match for sure. And I was riding on high before the main event with this one. So yeah, very enjoyable match.
The only way I would have accepted a Gunther loss would be if Goldberg came out and helped Pat win. That's the only way I would have accepted it.
Oh God, no! I wouldn't have. I would not like Gunther getting pinned by Pat.
That's the only way. As I said, storyline wise, I wouldn't mind it being like that. But that's the only way I would have had it that happen. I wouldn't have had it happen. I wouldn't have had like that spot with Michael Cole holding his leg. That definitely weren't the spot to end it if Pat McAfee was going to win. Me, it would have to be Goldberg coming out and destroying Gunther in order for Pat McAfee to win. I'm there with you. I thought he was going to, after the match, he should have beat him down, like both of them. And this time, he even got his hand on Michael Cole. And then you just take Michael Cole and Pat McAfee off commentary for a while, and you have to like bring over Joe or someone. Or they might be like, we can't get commentators because Gunther, they're all afraid of Gunther. Like,
get CM Punk back on commentary.
See, this is where I'm going to go on a rant now because this is where I'm going to go on. This has been so frustrating since seeing what they did with Gunther on Raw. Right, what I just said then could have made things very interesting. Beat up, like literally, this is the time where he finally gets his hand on Michael Cole and like destroys Michael Cole as well and Pat McAfee. That's how you end that segment. And it's like, what the hell? What's going to happen on Raw then? Well, like our commentators have been taken out. Already intrigued on what's going to happen on Raw. And then you turn it on to Raw and like maybe you have like, I don't know, two random people because they couldn't get anyone to do it because everyone's scared of Gunther. And then maybe you have Gunther week after week take it out like some of these production people. And eventually he takes out Adam Pearce. Because of how angry he is that he lost his world champion, and he thinks, everyone's against him. Eventually, they have to bring somebody in to stop this guy, and that's when you bring Goldberg in. And that would have been like a great story, I think. But instead, Instead, we got him giving respect to Pat McAfee. And then for some magical reason, he gets a rematch for the world title, which don't make sense because where the hell was Roman Reigns' rematch when he lost the title? Where the hell were all these other people that ain't got rematches? Where the hell are their title shots? Why does Gunther
I hate
get
the rematch clause, man.
But that's what I say. They got rid of it. So why the hell is suddenly Gunther getting the world title, a world title rematch? It don't make sense.
Only when they want to do it. Yeah.
And then the fact that he's coming out, he's like, yeah, whoever wins between you and between you, Jay, and you, Logan, that Saturday night main event, I will be facing them. And you know what this is going to lead to? Another Gunther loss. Gunther ain't winning that title back. And that makes me very, very worried for Gunther's character. Because I accepted it once. He lost to Jay once on the biggest stage. I accepted that. But is Gunther going to be like that weak that he's going to underestimate Jay again after losing to him once? He's meant to be the ring general. You know what I mean? And like I said, I just came up with a much more interesting story to do with him. Where he's destroying mofos. Like you could see his reaction to losing the belt. He is so angry about it that he's destroying everyone that you have to bring somebody like Goldberg in to try and stop him. But then he beats Goldberg at SummerSlam and you're like, what's the... Like, he has to win the belt again because by that point he's destroying everyone. And his anger, and that's again a character development with him. Like we went through the non-confident stage and then this is now Gunther's angry stage. But instead, we have to go with, I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing. The Pat McAfee thing is so confusing, the respect thing, because, as I said, and as you said, it don't fit the storyline going into the match, that he would give him respect after the match. He should have destroyed him. He should have destroyed Michael Cole. Like, I don't understand why they have to be so goddamn safe with all these storylines. That's my big issue here, is they are so safe with absolutely everything. They don't give anything a risky story. They don't do nothing to change. Like, why is Gunther just randomly getting a title shot? You can't tell me that's more interesting than having like a raging Hulk of a man running around backstage destroying mofos and you have to bring somebody in to stop him. Well, him just suddenly getting a rematch against Jey Uso, which he's going to lose, is much more interesting for Gunther. I don't understand it. And as I said, like with the White Six, like as I said earlier, like the White Six, like imagine they came out when Seth and that destroyed Roman and CM Punk. You didn't even have to have a feud between the two, but just like a face-to-face encounter, something just surprising, like, oh my God. Like everything is just so goddamn safe. Absolutely everything. The Punk thing this week. Punk coming out, doing a little promo, and then all it was bloody, like the typical thing. You just have Seth Rollins come out, and then you had them having a bit of a brawl, and then you had Sammy come to make the save, and then you had Jay come to make the save. It's just the same thing that we see every single week. And this is my big issue with Triple H. It's the same thing every week. When you could be doing so much more with these people. I don't understand it. I'm hearing they're not even thinking about putting another person with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. If that's true and you're not going to put another person in that group, what are you going to do to these people then? It would be so much more.
Legs if they don't add another person.
That's what I'm saying. It's so much more interesting to have even a couple of people. Make it a big, legit faction. I don't understand why they have to just go so, as I said, safe with everything. They just have to do the same typical thing every single week. It's like the Rhea. I've really enjoyed the match. The Rhea EO match against Julia and Roxanne Perez. But why did Julia and Roxanne Perez not win that match? They clearly are setting up a Rhea and EO rematch. Couldn't they just not coexist and one of them caused the other one to lose that match, and then you give a big win to Roxanne Perez and Julia in their first big main event match on Raw. And even on the commentary, they were going, "Oh, this would be a massive win for these. Imagine if they won this match." Why not do it? It would make the story a bit more interesting, wouldn't it? I don't understand it.
It would.
Things are so goddamn safe all the time with these people, and I've had enough of it. Had enough. And again, another prime example, I'll keep going back to the White Sixers because I'm a big fan of them. But when you were doing their storylines, when you were doing them with American Made, that was good at first, but then every week was basically the same thing. Chad would come out, and then Uncle Aldi would come out and give him a Sister Abigail. Same thing with Rhea and Liv. Same thing every single week. Liv would be out there, either in a match or on a mic. Rhea would come out, destroy her, move on to the next week. Same thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, Scott. I want good storylines. I want interesting stories. Shake it up. Shake it up a bit. I don't understand how with Gunther, you set him up to be this a pissed off hulking of a man, like this pissed off Hulk roaming around, just to squander it within 2 days. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you just now make him back to just regular old Gunther. Regular old Joe. Who seems like he didn't even just lose a title match. I don't understand it.
Should be mega pissed.
It just
Should be mega pissed.
It just winds me up. It winds me up that they have to go mega safe with these people. And I don't get it. You set things up that makes things so interesting. The same with the New Day. When you turn them heel, we were like, oh, where the hell is this going to go? And you did nothing with them. And now look what they're doing. Typical heel tag team stuff. What is going on? It's getting boring. It's getting bland. We need good stuff, please. Jesus Christ.
It is getting boring.
I'm not a big fan of this Gunther rematch against Jay. As I said in my little TikTok, I said maybe after the fact I'll be like, actually that did work. But I don't know how they're going to make it work unless Gunther wins the title back. But I don't see that.
Let me ask you this. You were okay with if Goldberg interrupted and Pat McAfee pinned Gunther? Would you be all right if Jay pinned Gunther if Goldberg interrupted that?
Yeah. As I said, that could be I'm like, after the fact. Yeah, I'll be okay with that. But then they need to now build up over the next couple of weeks Goldberg's involvement. Why would he get involved?
Like, go that way.
I'm fine if that's the case. Then fine. But obviously, just tell it in a good storyline wise. Like set up at Gold. Maybe Jay's friend with Goldberg suddenly or something like that. I don't know. Just sell it up. I'm all for it. I'm all for, like I said, I'm all for Buddy going for losing against Pat McAfee if Goldberg got involved. I'm all for it. But I just have not got the confidence that Triple H and that are going to pull the trigger on any of these things that we say. I feel like it's just going to be a typical match. Maybe there'll be some sort of interference, but it won't be that interesting. And Gunther will lose. And I'm just... As I said, I could look back at this after the fact and be like, okay, it worked. What they did worked. But just the initial reaction to it, I hate it. I hate what they're doing with Gunther at the moment. At this present moment, what we were promised with the storyline of Gunther being angry, the Gunther that we saw on the Raw after Mania where he came out and took out Pat McAfee and that's not the Gunther we're getting right now, and I'm very disappointed. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Gunther and all that sort of stuff, and I need them to make things a bit more interesting, please. The other thing, and the final thing I will say is like what me and you had a big complaint about WrestleMania 40. Everyone loved that main event at WrestleMania 40 with Cody and Roman Reigns. Me and Scott are in a very, very minority there. But that match would have been so much more interesting if it was what The Rock promised it was going to be, with all the Bloodline people being involved in the entire match, and like The Rock being the ref, Solo Sikoa being the special enforcer, like the ring announcer, or whatever. It would have been 10 times better like that. But no, instead we just got a bland normal match. Bloodline rules don't actually make sense to why it's called Bloodline rules, because the people that are not Bloodline gets the same rules as the people that are in the Bloodline, so it don't even make sense. Just call it a no DQ match. But then, like that match, they didn't risk it. They didn't do anything. They just made it a bland, boring. Well, not boring. It was an entertaining match, but it just was a typical no DQ match with obviously like an Avengers style ending. But yeah, I don't know, mate.
What's
I don't
funny
know.
about that type of match is just like kind of like, yeah, everyone supports it and all that, but we didn't. But then they do another Bloodline Rules match at SummerSlam and another one at Netflix and all that, and they're the same. And people were saying like, yeah, they're bland. It's just basically a no DQ match. But that's exactly what we've been saying the whole time. It's just like there's no difference. There's nothing to it. But I think they're just kind of blinded by the fact that Taker and Cena were in it, kind of deal, to make the difference. And of course, there was a bit more behind it with the Cody stuff. But yeah, it was just nowhere near as good as it could have been, because
And then that,
Bloodline stuff was the stipulation for the tag match before, and it's just like it didn't feel like it made any difference.
that's exactly it. That call that they made where I can't remember if it was Michael Cole or Pat McAfee, one of them, or Wade, but one of them said it, where they said, if they win night one, then God help Cody, he cannot win. But that's my thing. What was the disadvantage that Cody had in that match? He actually had better odds at winning the match when it was a Bloodline Rules match. That's the thing that don't make sense to me. Why people were so
Yeah,
over for it. It don't make sense. I still remember that call when I was like, oh, that's one of a call like that. Saying like, if Cody lose that tag match, then God help him, because he's not going to win at all. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, what a way to end that Raw. And then, yeah, they lose the match. So it's like, oh my God, how is he going to win? Oh, he's going to win just by having people help him out. Oh, okay. Yeah.
the stakes were removed because the whole point was like, oh, you've made it like no rules, so that means anyone, including faces, can get involved. As opposed to if Cody wins, then there's rules, so it makes it harder for people to interfere. So
And, that, and,
Cody
that,
losing actually is more in his favor.
and as you said, like The Rock was like, I'm going to do anything to make sure you don't win the belt. Okay. Oh, I'll come out. I've just finished my cup of tea. I'll come out for 5 minutes. Oh, hello. Such
Didn't do
idiotic.
jack throughout the match.
Yeah.
Where's my solo singing the Pledge of Allegiance segment?
That's
I
what I,
wanted
that,
that, damn it.
that's what I blame it. It was that one promo where he said that, oh, it maybe this bloodline rules. That means that I could be special guest referee. Solo could be the, like, they set it up. I don't know why they didn't go there. It would have been so much better of a story. But as I said, we're in a very minority compared to everyone else. Everyone else seemed to love it. I don't understand why, but maybe because I'm just fully storyline. As I said, I'm more storyline than anything else. It's all at the end of the day, it's all predetermined. It's all based on story. That's what I'm for. So I don't mind who wins or loses as long as it makes sense storyline. That's to me. But yeah, so that's my
Well,
big
again, it
rant.
leans into this thing I said where it's just kind of like I was saying, it's people promising things before the match, but it doesn't bleed over into the match. So
Yeah,
they're saying
absolutely.
this, that, and the other, and it doesn't reflect enough in the match. It's just, I hate that because it disrupts the story. The story
Yeah,
isn't continuing well enough.
absolutely agree. But yeah, let us know, son. Let us know what you thought about this aftermath with Jay with Gunther going after the title again.
Oh yeah. Well, there's some things I disagree with, like with the opening stuff for Raw with CM Punk and stuff, and that I actually really enjoyed that. But I think like, if they start doing that every week, then I could feel the fatigue. But stuff we've had the past few weeks, I've really been enjoying the episode with Sami Zayn. I thought it was really quite good and unique. Again, playing on that real stuff with their friendship, and Sammy being pissed off that he feels like he's been blackballed and blackmailed and forced to go elsewhere. Like that manipulation from Seth, I thought was really cool. And then after that, that great promo from Paul Heyman explaining his actions, just turning red, saying, I was right, not this time. Justifying his actions, like how Seth, Punk and Roman put him in an awkward position. I thought that was probably Paul Heyman's best promo, or at least the best Paul Heyman promo I've ever heard. I thought that was phenomenal. So good on him. And then just the stuff. It was surprising seeing Seth go for the title so soon, and we got a championship match. I thought that was quite refreshing. So I thought that was really good. So seeing Punk come out for the first time after Mania, having a promo, and him and Seth getting out, like laying out on the line how they feel, I thought that was really good. Him telling Bron Breakker to just, like, he was whispering something to his ear, telling him to go see something. He's like, "Ooh, what's he about to do?" And he was just attacking Jay. I was like, okay, that was deflating because we know Jay's just gonna come back to face Logan Paul. So I thought that might have been a bit more to that. So that I wasn't too feeling. And then if it does end up being like promo after promo at the start of Raw, then I think it might get a bit monotonous. I mean, gosh, was it the other year, the year of Judgment Day? And it was like at the start of every damn Raw, it was like the faces speak and then Judgment Day interrupt, or the Judgment Day speak and then the faces interrupt. Man, that got stale. It was just endless, endless, endless. That was the absolute peak of the Judgment Day, whilst you had Damien and Rhea and that. And it's like, it was very repetitive at that point. I hope it doesn't get to that point. Hopefully not. So we'll see. If it is just Seth and Bron Breakker, I'll be very disappointed in that, because it just screams like bigger faction, something like this, And then even this past Raw, there's a hint there. It was like Seth saying, it's like, they don't know who they're dealing with. They think they got one up on us. It's like, this is something the architect would do. It would almost be breaking character and story, almost like Seth not bringing in other people, because he knows the game. He knows how this works. He knows the numbers are against him, For them to not bring in other people, it wouldn't make really much sense, really, because if you really want to be the future of the industry, you're going to need backup, So I hope that's not the case and that they go for something here. But it would be the ultimate dull thing. It would be so boring if they didn't bring someone in. And it could make the story feel kind of flat if they don't, to be honest. I mean, hopefully not. Fingers crossed. It doesn't. We'll have to see where it goes. But so far, so good. I've really been enjoying it. In terms of the Gunther stuff, I don't want Gunther being pinned by Pat or Jay or anyone. I don't care what the hell the story is. I don't need that. It's like there's some cases where that's cool, that's fine. In this case, what? You're just chucking Gunther into a match with Jay again. For what? But just for the sake of it. It's like you could start a feud with Gunther and Goldberg without Gunther taking another loss. What's the point? Like, why have they got to face again? This is like, what, their fifth time? And Gunther's not going to win it. So there's absolutely no excuse here. I don't care if you do bring Goldberg into it. It's just like, you didn't have to put Gunther in this position. You didn't. And yeah, Dan's absolutely right. You could do way more interesting things here. That's also in line with Gunther's character, being the mega pissed off Austrian man. He could be chopping members of staff in the back. He could be like throwing guys over, crates and off of trucks or something like that until, he gets what he wants, or, he's just, just pissed. And then, yeah, you'd have a story where you bring in Goldberg into it. And Goldberg's not going to turn it down because of what Gunther said about him. And what was it, Bad Blood? I think it was Bad Blood. He was slagging him off there. It's like, you already got something there. So you could do way more with this. Way more. It just plays into this whole safe thing. It just feels like between Mania and SummerSlam or Bad Blood last year, they were really firing on all cylinders. It felt like, exciting. It was really getting into everything. But then, like after Bad Blood, onwards from that, it's just really just went downhill. It's just things got repetitive and circular and just stale. And you're waiting on things, and you're waiting on things, and you're waiting on things, and then eventually they'll get to it, or they just forget all about it. Don't know what the mindset is, just dragging things out to the ninth degree. I mean, even the Cena heel turn, man, it's just like waiting on the Rock, waiting on the Rock, waiting on the Rock, and you don't get it. You just let down. It's just stale, man. It's like Cena's heel turn. We'll still get good stuff out of it after Mania, but it has been damaged. It's been damaged. And why? Because they weren't exciting enough. The Rock wasn't there. And that's a big part of The Rock. He's like a big reason to do with that. It's like hearing all kinds of things of like, is he doing this because it's a power struggle between him and Triple H? Is it a spiteful thing because he didn't get his moment last year and Cody railroaded him? I don't know. It's just either way, The Rock looks shit in that situation. But it's tiring where you're just waiting to get to the good stuff and you're just waiting, or it's nowhere near as good as it could be. It's just dull as dishwater. I mean, I'm saying that a lot, but that's what it is. It's one big dishwasher, and it's dull. So I don't know. It drives you almost mad because you're just waiting for stuff that's probably not going to happen or not as good as you want it to be. And this is a big part of that because Gunther's lost that title, and you're just all right. Let's see where they go with it. Let's move on to some more exciting things. And it's just like, okay, Pat McAfee, it's a placeholder thing. But you're going for Jay again, and it's just like, he's going to lose. Why? I don't know. So, yeah, I just wasn't a fan of this whatsoever. The instant he declared that, you knew Jay was going to win. I mean, we knew Jay was going to win anyway, but blimey. Tell us who's the winner's going to be without really telling us, So that even kind of lessens Saturday Night Main Event because you're just waiting for Gunther to get there. The only thing that I can think of that might be okay in this situation is because this is the Raw after Money in the Bank. So what if the guy who wins the Money in the Bank cashes in and makes it a triple threat, and maybe they pin Jay and they take the belt? That's the only thing I can think of that makes it okay, because then both Jay and Gunther are protected here. They didn't expect someone to come in, and if Jay gets the pin and not Gunther, then whoever wins Money in the Bank, I don't know who wins Money in the Bank, that will be okay. That's the only thing I can think of, really. Outside of that, I don't think there's any other situation that makes this good, to be honest. I mean, for all we know, Seth could win Money in the Bank and then he pins Jay and then you advance that storyline. I don't know. But aside from that, I just thought it's a bad move. Like Dan says, you have to see where it goes, and then in hindsight, you'd be like, okay, it actually turned out all right. But at the moment, in this present time, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not really getting into it. And yeah, we've said it on multiple instances, like with the Wyatt stuff, with the women's stuff. It's just like with the Judgment Day stuff, it's so circular and repetitive. You got Sheamus feuding with Austin and Grace, and I just hope it's not a repeat of last year where it was Sheamus and Ludwig for the bazillionth time, because that was recycled so much, They just don't want instances of that. So I'm praying not. But yeah, I agree. I didn't feel it so much, what they were doing here. Not very interesting booking from Gunther. We're just waiting to get to the part where it'll be from Goldberg, and it'll probably be Gunther and Goldberg at Saudi at Night of Champions, which would be good. Because obviously they like to go a bit more out for Saudi shows, and that will be a big match for that. So I look forward to that. But let's just get past this hurdle and see what they do with Gunther here, and hopefully he just comes out of this looking okay and ready for that match with Goldberg. So let's see. But yeah, your rant, Stan, is completely justified. I mean, I know, I don't think Dan's going to agree with me too much on this. Well, maybe I don't know. I'll hear from him after. But AEW absolutely has its issues, its problems, and it is tanking at the moment. It's just leading viewers. It's not in that good a state at all. It has its moments, of course. But something about AEW that I feel like is a positive. It does kind of throws shit against the wall and see what sticks. Plenty of time where they try different things. I'm thoroughly enjoying this MJF thing with trying to win over the Hurt Syndicate and trying to join them and certain things like that. There's the odd segment here and there. Is like, you don't see that every day. And I guess that's the positive side where they're leaving the creativity to the wrestlers and letting them do the storylines. Of course, the downside of that is just like, the inmates are running the asylum and there's no order to it. But the other side is you actually see them a bit more breathable. I mean, guys like Christian and Ricochet are better in AEW than they are in WWE. They've actually been able to experiment a bit more with their characters. Tony Storm, folk like that could actually do a bit more. So that's the good side about it. It's just I wish WWE would maybe let the wrestlers maybe experiment a bit more and get a bit more into their characters. I mean, I don't know how much control they have, like what possible stuff they got, but it's like you said, the New Day stuff, man. You get all that good stuff with the New Day, and then I find it hard to believe that this is what they've chosen to do. They hardly get any screen time or much to do at all. Whereas if you left it to them to be creative, I feel like they could do a lot of good stuff, man. I feel like we'd even get Big E involved, and maybe he could manage a rival tag team to face them or something like that. So I don't know, man. Maybe WWE and Triple H and that have got the reins too tight around the wrestlers, and they need to let wrestlers' creative juices flow a bit more. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on that sort of side of things are, chap.
I agree with everything you say, son. I'm wrong with everything that I said. That I disagree with you. I agree. I know some podcasts that do that where they have different opinions, and one person will say something. It's like, actually, no, you're right. Yeah. It's like, no, stand your ground. I disagree with you. Pat McAfee should have lost if Goldberg got him, or should have won if Goldberg got involved. All right, I don't agree with you. Jesus,
I'm leaving.
People, stand your ground in this game, please. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Stick to your guns, for crying out loud. It makes it more interesting, different opinions.
That's the one good thing about this podcast that you'll get. Me and Scott will disagree with stuff. And when we do, of course, we could change each other's opinions on certain things. But stuff like your taste in wrestling... Yeah. It's quite hard to change, I feel. Like as you know, me, I wouldn't care if anyone loses a match as long as it fits storyline-wise. Obviously, Scott's in a different opinion on me, where he does think results does matter compared to me. I think the result needs to fix the storyline, fit the storyline, and obviously Scott thinks sometimes results need to fix fit the character rather than the storyline. So. And also...
it depends on the situation, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We gave you a prime example there. He wouldn't have been happy if Pat McAfee won at all. Even no matter what the storyline would have been, he wouldn't have been happy. Me, I would. And also, Scott likes that like crappy wrestling that you get in AEW, like bloody Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. I mean, was it in their second match? It was a bit all over the place. I mean, I know you really hated that first match with them.
Every match they have is all over the place. Jesus Christ.
The wrestling definitely needs work. Everyone blends into each other. Like you see the same match 1,000 times, which is like, you need the wrestlers to... That's where AEW needs to copy WWE a little bit, where everyone has their signature moves and it stands out, and not have everyone do a Canadian Destroyer every 5 minutes.
I still think, and I'm still in a strong belief where, you can have one proper good match on Raw, but not every match, like they do in AEW, where they try and make every single match some outstanding piece of wrestling. And it's like, I feel like it damages the pay per view because by the end of you're like, what's so different between the matches that we get on the pay per view compared to what we get on Raw? Why should we pay £50 to see the exact same kind of matches that we get on Raw or on Dynamite in AEW cases? So I do feel like you need to step it up for the pay per view matches compared to what you get on TV. But that's just me. I feel like it damages
Is
your
it the care
business.
level? Like maybe just like we don't like. I remember this past Raw. There's a bunch of like good wrestling and that. You've got All Raiders and Creed Brothers and that, Chad and Penta and that. Obviously the women's tag, but I guess there's a certain amount of less caring compared to the matches you have on the pay-per-view, I suppose. I mean,
Of
all right,
course, of course,
Penta
like.
and Dominic are different, but yeah.
But of course, like obviously, our greatest AEW match of all time was it Hologram versus the Beast Montos in 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, that was built and made. We cared so much about that match going into that pay per view. That's the reason why we brought that match, that pay per view. I don't know. I just
It
think
was
that
it. Tony Khan tweeted about like lots of
hot
Mortis saying, "Oh,
feud.
the next step of their epic rivalry" or something like that.
But yeah, no, it's.
Jesus Christ.
I think there's something to say about that. I've got a lot of issues with AEW. Maybe one day we'll get into it, but yeah, I do feel like, unfortunately, like to me, it's just burnout on great matches. I believe that is a thing. That's what I experienced. I believe it was just by the time you got two people where you're like, yes, I know they could put on a great match, but can we please tell a bit of a story or something else, please? I believe there is a burnout that you can get from that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd be interesting your thoughts on the creative side of things, though. Obviously, they're just not consistent with the creative things, but I think they do try to flex it and try different things a bit more. Like when they do try, it feels a bit more refreshing than WWE, which feels or is increasingly feeling by the day somewhat more stagnant.
Oh, you mean like the time when John Moxley took over the station? You remember that epic storyline?
Oh, not the top of the card. Jesus Christ. I just can't wait for the Death Riders for that thing to end, for the love of God. Top of the card is just like, no, it's the same stuff with John just talking in riddles all the bloody time. It's just like, I don't know what you're trying to achieve, man. I don't know where you're going with this. You're taking over. What are we doing? And it's just like multiple times where the story is just like taking out members of the Death Riders, and that's it. Taking out your boys. It's just like, okay. We've done this already. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but with
Obviously,
with AEW now, it's like they're not formulaic. That's what I'll say. Raw or WWE, they're very formulaic. They're set in their ways, and that's the way we do stuff. Sort of like what you said, like that CM Punk segment. With it weren't a bad segment. I still enjoyed it, but it's the fact that everything is like that. There's just like nothing that stands out when you could have done something that stands out with Gunther. Like I said, I still enjoyed that segment. I'm not saying that was a bad, negative thing that they did in that opening segment. But when everything's the same, I'm just pointing out everything is formulaic
so
and
it blends
bland.
into one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they could be doing much more epic stuff with Punk and all that. Like, but they just don't do it. They got to stay in the arena and talking to each other on the microphones and just have a brawl here and there sort of thing. They don't do anything outside of that.
Do you think there's a kind of suffocation on the creativity side of things? Because I said, I mean, you know, with AEW, Tony Khan just lets the inmates run the asylum, so you just got the wrestlers doing whatever the hell they want and getting paid a massive amount for it. But it does give them a bit more freedom on the creativity side, whereas WWE might be a bit more restrained on that front. I mean, could both companies learn to maybe balance it out a little more, where it's just like, you know, we have an overarching plan for everyone, but maybe give the wrestlers some creative freedom on what to do with their stories and their characters. that maybe both companies are having a bit of an issue with that, maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Oh no, yeah, I agree with everything you say, Scott. Sorry, yeah, I do. No, I agree with what you said there. Um, yeah, no, there's like some sort of balance they have to get to at some point. But also, I don't even believe like I don't know. It's just it's very difficult to think like I don't. If you had a good creative team, then we wouldn't even be feeling like this. Like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like obviously you listen to the rest of them. Like, the rest of them be like, this is where I think we should go with the character. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Come and sit down with me. Let's come up with some ideas. Stuff like that. Rather than this week, this is what you're gonna do, and then we'll just end it like
yeah.
that. And then next week, this is what you're gonna do, and then we'll just end it like that. And then this week, you go out there and you just end it like that. And it's just like we'll set up a tag team match at the end of the night, and that's what we'll do every week for the
Oh,
next five
SmackDown,
weeks.
God.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's got to be some sort of balance. Obviously, you know what my opinion is about AEW creative. I think it's down in the dumps. Yeah, they have the odd thing here and there. Like obviously, anything really MJF touches is really good, but that's because of him. Even if it was some crap storyline, he still is the thing that shines out of it. Same with like Tony Storm. Obviously, it's all about her character. She's good in ring as well, don't get me wrong, but the reason why she's so over as she is because of her character. Um,
Mm. The top of the card is good, Christian, well, not Christian, well, sometimes Christian. And then you got your Will Ospreay, you got your Swerve, you got your Hangman, stuff like that. People hate on the Young Bucks all the time, but I feel like they're one of the only, like, two of the only people that gives real, characters and tries to do shit. Not nearly as much shit as we want them to, but compared to everyone else who's bland as anything. Um, and then it just kind of makes you wish, if we had that kind of, freedom with those characters that makes us enjoy them, with the rest of the roster, AEW might be a very different story.
I'll tell you one thing that I think Will Ospreay needs to do is to shut his mouth. I don't know what he's doing recently, where he's just constantly shitting on WWE.
Oh, I know. He needs to shut
But
up. My
if
gosh.
you maybe he just never wants to go there and he wants to burn that bridge. I don't know. But I disagree with everything that he says, where he's like, oh, we got better wrestling. As I said to you before, in my eyes, wrestling is more than the in-ring product. And I've seen plenty of Will Ospreay matches where I'm like, to me, that wasn't even good in ring. Like, bloody hell. Like, even that Ricochet match, that first one, Jesus Christ. In ring, you made everything look fake, so how the hell was that good in ring? It's beyond me.
Yeah.
Athleticism is a different matter, of course. But to me, you need to make wrestling look real. I've had enough of this flippity flip. I saw that segment in AEW and I was like, what are they doing? It was one of their all-star tag matches. And everyone was going for an elbow drop and
Oh,
missing. And I was like, what is this? Jesus Christ. Talk about
indie shit.
choreographed. Oh,
I know that breaks the immersion for sure. That's kind of indie shit we don't need for real.
yeah, I know. I know, but yeah,
No, give.
I'm a fan of Will. I think he's good. I don't think he's like the best thing since sliced bread, but I think he's good. I think he definitely could be toned correctly if he went to WWE for sure. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's burning that bridge and constantly crapping all over WWE. I have no idea why he's doing that. And as I said, I disagree with his. He can have his own opinions. He can believe that all he wants. But to me, I disagree with what he's saying. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
just
know why he has to keep saying this sort of stuff like burning bridges and stuff. I don't think Triple H is bothered by it. I feel like he would still take Will Ospreay in a shot if it means, big business kind of deal. Like if CM Punk can come back, Jesus Christ, Will Ospreay could come back. Not come, just arrive there. Um, he's definitely someone where he's just like he's worked in New Japan throughout his career, so he's kind of just new to the whole storytelling kind of side of things. So he feels like AEW is the best thing because he's just introduced to the new, like the story kind of things. But he's got to shut the hell up, just slagging off WWE for crying out loud. It's just like that's not a professional move. You never know where you're going to be in 5 years' time, for the love of God. And WWE could actually get a lot more out of him. They could, like you said, mold him into a huge star, craft his promos, craft his wrestling to their style, and it could be perfected. But I get what you're saying, like, AEW feels maybe more into the pro wrestling side where it feels a bit more sporty, I suppose.
But if it wanted to be sporty, they need to make it look less. Why do they need to make it look fake? That's what I want to know.
And I mean, there's more tournaments and stuff like that, so they had more of that kind of side of it. They got to stop that choreograph shit, for sure. And I guess in the real world, if everyone was doing pro wrestling, I guess a lot of the matches will be the same because everyone's doing what they want to win. So they'll use all kinds of moves. But you want to lean more into the creative side where everyone is defined. They stand out more from each other by their moveset. So it's a tough one. But if you want to get in the big leagues and rival with WWE, you've got to lean more to WWE side of things for sure. But Will's not going to slag off AEW wise with them. So let's see what happens when his contract ends, yes, and see if he might, get a little negotiation with Triple H there. You never know. I really want to see MJF in WWE. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. MJF is one that hopefully one day he'll come over. I'm sure he will. The other thing I'm not liking either is sort of like what WWE's doing, where they're constantly booking shows on days when AEW shows are. So as somebody like you who's a fan of both, that watches both, what are you going to be doing on these days when like All In is happening at the same time as Evolution or whatever it is? So you're like, I've got two shows happening at the exact same time. What am I meant to do here?
And I'm just brain dead. Was it May 24th? Or that weekend, you got Saturday night main event on the Saturday, and then the Sunday it's Double or Nothing and NXT Battleground, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just way too much wrestling for my taste. I'm gonna be dead by the end of that. Yeah, I feel like it's just we don't need to do this spiteful shit from either side. I feel like it's more harsher on the WWE side because they're a lot longer and should be more experienced and don't need to do that. They should know better. Whereas Tony Khan is just like, you don't know shit and just started this sort of thing. He's just playing with his toys and, don't know what he's doing. Yeah, so I feel like it's bad on us fans who watch both shows. And if you watch NXT as well, that we've got to have all this compiled and shoved in our face at once. It kind of makes it less exciting because it feels more like a chore that you got to get through it. I mean, I'm sure I enjoy plenty of it when I get into it. It's just the daunting thought of having to catch up and watch all of that. It feels just even exhausting thinking about it. So
I bet. This is
I
why
don't know.
This is why I can't do both AEW and WWE at the moment, because it's just I can't do it. I cannot do it. Yes, adding AEW, adding NXT to the mix was quite hard as well. Like, there's how much NXT. I'm still behind a couple of weeks on NXT. I'm like, geez, there's so much, so much wrestling.
Can you imagine a Mania weekend? Can you imagine a Mania weekend like had all that with NXT and that, and AEW had something going on as well? You'll never see me again. I'd just be like, still catching up.
But I will give my controversial take, because I know a lot of people will disagree with me here, but I think Pat McAfee versus Gunther was a better match than Will Ospreay and Ricochet by far. But that's just my opinion. Moving on.
I look forward to hearing feedback on that. If anyone comments on that, that'll be interesting. It'd be like, you what?
Like,
Dave Meltzer will be against you on that.
I'll be like, yeah, and what? At least Pat McAfee and Gunther made you feel. That's all I say. They were telling a story and not just flipping for the 15,000th time. Anywho, talking about strong story kind of matches, we move on to the main event of the evening. John Cena defeated Randall Keith Orton. I think it's your turn to go first for this one, so take it away, Scott. Let us know. Did you enjoy this Cena match? Because we know you're not a big Cena fan, so let us know. Hello?
Sorry, so I've been muted the whole time. Flipping next.
Let me start from the beginning. We know you're not a big Cena fan, so let us know.
Yes. Is that actually his name? Randall. Randall Keith Orton. I don't know if I could take him as seriously. His in-ring name was Randall
I
compared to
believe, I
Randy's
believe,
match
I
belt.
believe it is. I've heard a few people call him Randall Keith Orton, so I think it is. I'll have a look. I'll have a look while you give us your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Cena versus Orton, yes. So yeah, I've said before I'm a big, Cena hater and all that. But I have been enjoying his heel run, even though WWE is trying to make me dislike it with all the Rock drama and all that shit, damaging it, unfortunately. But it really didn't help with that Mania match. Like Jesus Christ, it really showed Cena's terrible wrestling. And it's just like, yeah, the good thing about this heel turn is really highlighting all the reasons why folk don't like him. And I'm still perplexed of why people are like saying they like him. Or like, if you've always been a fan of Cena, then I get it. But if you've hated him and just because he was gone for a bit, that you started liking him, that makes no sense whatsoever. The guy hasn't changed whatsoever. Format, his style, what he does is exactly the same. You've hated him for so long. Why on earth would you start liking him now? It's still, to me, I don't understand to this day. At least he's changed now and doing a heel gimmick. He's shaking it up. It's like with Reigns, no one could stand him, but then he shook it up and turned heel, and that it's like, okay, we all get it now. We all love Reigns now. It all makes sense. Um, and it makes sense here with the Cena heel turn. It's just, unfortunately, yes, he's still a terrible wrestler, and it showed in that Mania match. I don't care. People go on about the story of that match. I still like. It's more than that to me. The match itself was still terrible. Even with the antics, the match would still, the antics I'd love, but unfortunately, we got no antics, and the match was terrible. It was about 20 minutes of Cena being shit. This match, this was way better, way better. It's still a bad match. As a wrestling match, it's still bad, but it got up to all kinds of chaos and antics and all sorts of stuff that made it entertaining. And I found it entertaining. And I was enjoying it. And I was like, all right, how are you going to make Cena hang in there in this last run and make it bearable when it comes to his matches? This is the sort of stuff you need to do. You'll probably have to like overbook it like crazy. This was more overbooked than Mania 40 Night 2. It's like, why am I getting more crazy antics and investable stuff here than Mania 40 and Night 2? I don't understand. And, I wasn't even expecting this level of craziness. I was expecting craziness at Mania Night 2, so I don't know. But in any case, this match, Cena was doing the usual shitty stuff. You could see him talking to Orton about what they're going to do next. The shut the fuck up, the SFTU, terrible. There's like a chasm between Orton's head and his arms. Jesus Christ. But the story and antics of it was fun. Like, Cena and Orton poking each other's eyes out, or Cena walking away. Like, I'm not doing this shit. Them trading, grappling each other over and over and over and over was fun. That move, what was it? The AA into the RKO. Holy shit. Was that the first time that they've ever done that? Have they done that before? I don't know, but I say next to Dominic doing the suicide dive to the DDT, this was also one of the matches of one of the moves of the night. Just Orton transitioning the AA into that RKO. I thought that was pretty sick. And they wiped each other out with both of their finishes. That was cool. But then it really got crazy. So they were just going with like knocking out refs and Orton AAing Cena through two tables. I think Orton was pissed that the commentator's table didn't break properly, or maybe he was going to do another move on the table, but it wasn't stable. So he got another table out and AA'd Cena through that. So that was funny. Then just endless number of staff. The RKO Fest was a lot of fun. RKO'd Nick again. I would be in hysterics if Orton came up to Nick and went like, I'm going to pay you again for next time. I think you got to have Orton and Nick now. Have some kind of match. We've had Gunther face commentators. Why not Orton face the GM? I mean, I feel like it needs to be done now. I feel like you got to have Orton face Nick. If Orton face Nick, Orton's having an interesting 2025 for sure. He's having gimmick matches with Joe Hendry and crazy matches like this. Facing Nick Aldis is like Orton's having quite the year, to say the least. But that was fun. You don't really have much control of a match or, caring much about anything going into it when you got R-Truth randomly running interference sort of deal. But I guess this is kind of leaning into what they want to do after the match. But yeah, R-Truth runs in there and Orton's like, what the fuck, man? RKO for you as well. He looked a little regretful of that one. And then, yeah, Cena doing his thing. As it hitting him, did a low blow. I think he hit him with the belt. And then that was it. He took it. So even the AA didn't took it. Again, finishes out the nines. I think somebody counted it was like 5 AAs and I don't know, at least 10 RKOs, I think. And 2 of those AAs, I think, was from Orton to Cena. So it's like, Jesus Christ. There was no structure to this. It was just pure chaos. Finisher fest. I feel like WWE is quite relying on, like, it feels like WWE's caring less and less about finishers nowadays. I feel like we're spamming a lot of finishers nowadays. And this match definitely did that. But yeah, good fun. Obviously, it was just, unorganized chaos. No real structure to it. It felt more like just fun to watch than actually embracing it as a match. Obviously, it wasn't a good pro wrestling match, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was entertaining. And it feels like they built this up as one last time. This is their last time. So if this is their last time, I don't know what true fans of this kind of rivalry feel about it, because if I was a true fan of it and this was their last bout, I guess I wouldn't be too satisfied. Just R-Truth running in, then a low blow, an unauthentic, a not true ending, but it was antics throughout. So it's hard to say what would be a genuine ending between the two. But for what it was, I thought it was entertaining. Probably don't need to see these two face again. That's it for their feud. We can check that off the list and see what other rivalries Cena can sum up with. And I guess I might as well just chuck it out there. I think R-Truth, Cena AA'd R-Truth into the post-conference table for mentioning you can't wrestle. I like this thing they have with Cena where it's just like, if you mention that really triggers him. It's like talking about the you can't wrestle, so that's good. I wouldn't mind a little Cena R-Truth rivalry, and those two have a match maybe on Saturday Night Main Event, considering R-Truth has always gone on that Cena is his childhood hero and he uses Cena's move. You could probably play in a match, and like that you could probably have a bit of storytelling. R-Truth surprises Cena with how resilient he is. They both try the same moves on each other. Maybe you have R-Truth, being good to Cena, still thinking he's hero, but throughout the match, Cena slowly keeps pissing R-Truth off, hitting him and stuff like that, and then R-Truth just snaps and then it's just pissed at Cena and they just go at it. Like, that could be some great storytelling right there. So, there's potential here. Let's see where it goes. My full faith in WWE isn't there for them to do something like this, but we'll see how it goes. And then after the match, they had a little thing where Cena was just standing in the ring amongst the crowd, and he kind of looked regretful, or just reflectful. He's just thinking. I feel like maybe he's a bit regretful for the things he's doing, which might be a slight step towards him turning face again, which I appreciated. It felt like a good little story thing. If it's not that, and he's just embracing that, this is last match with Orton or something like that, then fair enough. But I'd like to think it was something like story related. You never know. Nice little thing there that's going to lead to the face, going back to face. But yeah, for what it was enjoyable. Not the match of the night. I think I give that to Lyra and Becky. But, a fun match. Not what I expected at all. But Cena matches have to be like this going forward for the rest of his run. Otherwise, they're just not going to hit. And they're going to be like that Mania match. So I'm all for it if this is the way they're going to go. Even Cena's 5 moves of doom when he was going very slow in the match. He didn't do that here. He sped it up again. Maybe they realised it wasn't the way to go. So, if this is the way they're going to do it. It's the best we're going to get because Cena can't wrestle for shit. So let's go for it. But yeah, that is my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think, chap.
So my thoughts on Randall Keith Orton versus John Felix Anthony Cena Jr. is as follows.
Junior.
So that's their full name, son.
Oh right, I'm going to say that from now on.
Yeah.
What did you think of Randall?
I thought Randall was good. I think I'm there with you with everything that you said there. I enjoyed the match overall. Although it weren't nothing like amazing. It weren't like something that I'm like, oh my god, the spectacle. But I thought it was a lot of fun. The shenanigans towards the end is definitely the highlight of the match. I enjoyed how they were playing with the crowd. The bits where they kept doing the sleeper hold on each other, back and forth, that cracked me up. I thought that was good. The bit that really did crack me up was the STF or STFU now. I think they're actually calling it the full name again. I think I'm now just accepting that it will never look good. And seeing it like this is probably the worst I've ever seen. And it gave me entertainment just seeing how bad it looked. It was just so funny. I was so
Screw that move, man.
I was so entertained by it. I was like, I love this. I want Cena now just to make it look worse every single match he does. Just make it look bad.
Oh my god!
The amount of gap he had between Randy's head and his forearm just cracked me. I was like. The only one I remember the one that the Elimination Chamber looked decent, the one that he did to Punk, but these just cracked me up. Oh mate, I'm there all for this. I'm sports entertained for sure. But yeah, then after that, obviously you get all the whole shenanigans with the refs bumps and all the obviously false pins, the AA through the table, through the commentary table, through the other table. The commentary table didn't go down, so I think they decided let's do it through an actual table this time. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the RKO to all the crew that came out and Nick Alders. I definitely think now that they've done it again that this will lead to a Randy versus Nick Alders match. And I'm all for it. I would have been for it for Mania. I'm glad we got the Joe Hendry moment. But yeah, I definitely think this should be the route that they go with him. So I think they're booking Randy quite perfectly as a face. Because we know eventually he's going to turn on Cody. But then turn heel again. You know that's going to happen at some point. But as a face, I like what they're doing with him at the moment. So I'm enjoying that very much. Yes. And Cena, yeah, I'm really enjoying the Cena's heel tactics here. I thought once the beginning part of the match was okay, but I enjoyed when they started playing with the crowd, like playing back and forth, and then from the moment when the finishes started happening, that AA into the RKO looked great. The STFU looked amazing because it looked so bad. But then, the AAs and stuff. It's just a shame we never saw Cena do an RKO to Randy. I thought that's something we would see because Randy was delivering the AAs. I thought we'd see a Cena RKO, but we never got that.
What was that moment with Cena doing the Randy stuff?
He was doing
himself up for
he was doing the snake-like movements that Randy was doing, but he never was able to deliver the actual RKO itself. I'm a big fan of the ending with R-Truth coming out. It sets up obviously the match that we're going to see. They've been setting this up for a while with R-Truth, even last year on the Raw After Mania, if you remember. It was R-Truth and The Miz, and they tag teamed with John Cena. They've been building this up for a while, and I think it's a nice little side story to tell in the Cena's final year. I think it's great. And yeah, as you said, I'm glad it's not on like a big PLE like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. This is just going to be like a Saturday night's main event kind of deal. And yeah, I'm all for it. I think it has the potential to be a fun match. And yeah, it's not like they didn't set this up, so I'm all for it. And then unfortunately, Truth in the aftermath of the match realised that Cena didn't really weren't fully there with him. Yes, it doesn't matter if you save him from the match; he will still give you an AA. Yes, if you mention that he can't wrestle. The clip that you're going on about Cena looking like sort of he's regretting not giving in to the audience while the audience are saying thank you, Cena. I've not seen this clip. I don't know where to find it. It definitely weren't in the broadcast on Netflix, so I don't know where the hell to find that clip. But yeah, I've seen people mention it. Obviously, you've mentioned it, Scott. So I don't know where people have seen it. I want to see it. I want to know.
I think they would have showed it on the show, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it weren't on there. I've not seen it. Maybe it is there now. I don't know. But I will say, whether it's an actual character moment or not, I guess we'll find out on SmackDown whether they reference it or not. If they don't, I'm assuming it's not part of his character development. But if they do mention it, then of course he could already be having faults of turning. But yeah, I'm a big fan of how they finished the match with the whole low blow into the title belt shot, and that what gave Cena a win. I think he should win every match like this because we know it's all going to end up being Cody doing that to him, and then Cody winning the belt back. I'm all for it. I think unfortunately, obviously, I weren't a big fan of the AA anyway, but it sort of demolishes that as his finisher. But I'm all for him using the belt every time to win, and then eventually Cody does it back to him, and he wins by doing what Cena does to everyone else. And then you slowly turn Cena face after that. So yeah, overall I thought it was a very entertaining main event. Not fantastic match-wise, like pro wrestling-wise, in-ring ability-wise, but I was very sports entertained. That's what I'll say. I was very sports entertained by this match. And yeah, I'm there. This is how they should book every Cena match going forward. As I said, play to their strengths. Cena ain't fantastic in-ring, so play on the story elements of things, on the shenanigans. This is exactly how it should have been booked at Mania. If I guarantee, if The Rock came out and we had all these shenanigans at WrestleMania 41, that main event would have been looked upon differently. People would have been like, oh yeah, the first 10, 15 minutes weren't good, but then we got to all that class shit at the end. Basically like what they do with the WrestleMania 40 ending as well. So yeah, definitely do this. Every single Cena match going forward, do this. But yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for this Cena R-Truth feud that they got leading into. And yeah, overall, I will say I thought Backlash was a damn good show. It was a damn good, entertaining show. It's not something that was like outstanding. Oh my God, everyone go out and watch. There weren't like massive moments that you should actually go and watch. But it was very entertaining to watch. I'm glad I watched it. Very much enjoyed myself. And yeah, I definitely don't regret watching it. So yeah, I think they definitely get a massive pass from me for this, despite my rants. My rants about different things. It's not about this show. It's just about more of the creative stuff. But I thought they booked this show great, apart from Gunther showing respect. But outside of that, great stuff. My match of the night was Lyra versus Becky. My least favourite match was Penta versus Finn. But that still wasn't a bad match. And I thought overall it was a very, very good show. What's your thoughts overall, Scott?
Oh, I'm never going to get Orton giving a punt, am I? Just never going to see him deliver a punt to anyone. He's going to give one to Cena, weren't he? And then he got interrupted by R-Truth. It's like, one day. Maybe we'll give it to Nick Aldis. Never know.
I swear,
I
do swear he did deliver one to the Big Show back in the day we were first watching. You might not remember it, but I think
he's done it. It's just been a long time.
Yeah, I think it's one of those one of those banned moves where you can barely do it apart from on the odd or very rare once a year, once every 10-year kind of move.
I wish I just wouldn't keep teasing it then. It's just like so many times they tease it but never go through. It's like, I bet he would have done it to Kevin if they had their match at Mania. But,
oh yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that. That's how that match would have ended, because I still think Randy would have won that match, and I think it would have ended with a punt.
Nah. Agree there. Agree. Well, I'll hold out for that. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was good. I think if you're talking about as a whole package, just the whole show itself, if you're looking at the entire pay-per-view in entirety, this is probably the second best pay-per-view of the year. I think Elimination Chamber was awesome. That's the best pay-per-view of the year so far. Rumble kind of gets hindered knowing where you go with the Rumble winners kind of deal. And of course, there's a conversation to be made on whether Mania was better. That's obviously got the bigger stuff. But if you're talking about a show just, looking for a good time from start to finish and just you're getting that vibe all the way through, I'd probably say this was, better than Mania from that aspect. But yeah, I really enjoyed myself. I find myself enjoying Backlashes more. I remember 2 years ago, was it Damien versus Bad Bunny? I remember enjoying that Backlash. And last year was Cody and AJ. I think it's just one of those pay-per-views where your expectations are low because you just, you come out of the biggest show of the year and then it's just like, okay, back to normal. Let's just see what we get out of Backlash. And I just usually find myself enjoying it. So I'm finding myself more a fan, or at least more of a fan of the first pay-per-view after Mania, because it just feels like sort of a reset button after Mania. You're just doing different things and you're back to the old shorter format, where it's just more casual after what you've done with the last three pay-per-views, Rumble, Chamber and Mania. You're back to business, normal business as usual. So yeah, I thought I had quite a good time here. I mean, don't get it twisted, I weren't saying Penta and Dominic was anything amazing, just enjoying it for what it was. It was definitely a Raw match and didn't need to be here. You could have done all of this on Raw and would have got the same kind of vibe, really. The rest of it felt pay-per-view worthy, though. The Fatal 4-Way was very good. Lyra and Becky was match of the night, was really good. Penta and Dominic was the lesser match of the night, least favourite, but still good. Gunther and Pat felt like a unique kind of gimmicky kind of match and really enjoyed what they did there. And Cena and Orton was just absolute chaos and it was fun for what it was. I hate using the term sports entertain, but if I was going to call it something, it's probably that. It's the entertainment more than the sport, more than anything. So yeah, good fun, good time. I'd give it probably like a 7 out of 10, probably a pay-per-view overall. Had a good round with it. So yeah, good times. And yeah, just look forward to where we go from here, really. Is it Night of Champions? What's the order here? Is it Night of Champions, then Money in the Bank? Or was it Money in the Bank first? Do you know, chap?
I believe it's Money in the Bank next, and then it's Night of Champions the month after, I believe. So yeah, we've got Money in the Bank next. Hopefully,
right.
It'll be interesting to see. I have no idea. If you ask me right now who I think is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, no idea.
No idea. No clue.
My theory is Seth's going to win the men's just because I think he's going to be the next champ. Oh yeah, I was going to say back when you were saying Seth Rollins, you'd like it if Seth cashed in on Gunther and Jay, and then Seth won by pinning Jay. I wouldn't like it because to me, I would feel like, well, Gunther then would say, well, I was never pinned, so I need another rematch for the title, and then you'd have to lose against Seth. So I'm not all for that. I'm not all for that.
Well, I hope they drop that whole thing. Jesus Christ.
But the thing is, that would be in Gunther's character to say, oh, well, I weren't pinned. So give me a title.
I guess
shot.
the natural way to go about that is distracting with other opponents, I suppose.
So as I said, I'm not a big fan of it. If that's the way it goes, I think it would, again, ruin Gunther's character. Unless, there's a story way storyline way to get him out of it. But
Just remove the whole rematch clause for crying out loud. It's just a matter of convenience for WWE, just like, or wrestling in general, just
it would,
using it as a convenience just to face again.
that wouldn't be a rematch clause. That would just be like, well, I weren't pinned. You pinned him, you didn't pin me, so I've still not
Well,
lost.
you can see the rabbit hole you go into with it is like this match we just declared on Raw is probably him just going for his rematch.
But
and then,
I
didn't lose my rematch. How about the rematch for the rematch?
Yeah. But that's what I think his character would do if he lost a triple threat. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I could see Seth winning the Money in the Bank, cashing in on Jay at some point, and then I could see. I said I would have Stephanie Valkyrie win the women's Money in the Bank. Just give her the title as soon as.
Oh, you put her up, would you?
Oh yeah, because she's been on Raw a couple of times. Maybe even have her lose the belt to Jordan Grace, because I believe she's facing Jordan Grace at what is it called? Battleground, is it called?
Battleground, I think, yeah.
And bring her up fully, because as we know, she's appeared a couple of times already, and they're definitely going to be building her towards Evolution. So maybe have her win the Money in the Bank. There you go, it's not done. Have her win the Money in the Bank, and then have her announce that she's going to cash it in at Evolution against Io Sky. And there we go, we've got the rematch. Boom!
Wow, that's pretty good booking right there. I mean, I guess Jordan Grace is the best person to take the belt from Stephanie, so she could lose it, go up, declare she's going to Money in the Bank, and then cash that damn thing on Io, and then that would instantly make that pay-per-view notable and make people want to watch it for next time.
Exactly. Then you could give Stephanie that belt, because they are very, very hot on her at the moment. So you might as well. And the fans are so behind her. So just do it. Yeah. Just do it. Yes. And you want to create a new star.
Then as the consequence of that, Booker T's got to be up there as well. He's got to go up to the main roster with her.
Yeah.
Just
to commentate her matches. That's it. It doesn't even need to be there the full time. Just every time he comes out with her. He comes out with her. He's like, But yeah, no, that's my prediction at the moment. Who I think could win the Money in the Bank.
That's a good prediction.
Do you have any inkling?
Like men's, I guess I'm right with you there. If it's not Seth, then it'd be Bron Breakker. It's one of those two, I think, going in that sort of direction. I can't think of anyone else that would be worth it to take it off of Jay. Gunther's obviously not going to be in the match because he's challenging Jay right after Money in the Bank, and no one else in the roster seems worthy of it or is believable for it. I mean, a little room for maybe Drew, but he's on SmackDown. I don't know if the draft will bring him back to Raw so soon, so probably not him. So yeah, it'd probably be Seth, and if not him, I feel like Seth and Bron, there's a bit of storytelling. They'll have them both in the match. But if it's going to be one guy in the match, or one guy, I believe, going to win more than the other, it'd probably be Seth, and I'd go for that. What a development that would be, though. Seth won Money in the Bank, and then he instantly cashes in on Gunther and Jay and just takes it. That'd be like pretty fun to watch. Women, I really like your idea. I really like that. That'd be very cool, and it's just good on all fronts, really. New champion on NXT, fresh talent who's over, win Money in the Bank, and cash in makes the women's pay-per-view look really good. That is good booking right there. If we didn't do that and we was just sticking to the main roster, I can't really think of anyone really.
Roxanne
Maybe
Perez?
Chelsea Green? Roxanne Perez. Yeah, you could have Roxanne Perez. I guess they could go with Julia.
Unfortunately to me, I don't see at the moment Chelsea Green as a world champion, unfortunately. I don't know if that really works for her character at the moment. But I think there's room for her character to grow. But
you can imagine the gimmick, what she'd do with the case. Probably has some tagline with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like for a year, she'd run with that case, and you'd have a good time with her holding that case. I guess it also depends on who's the main champion at the time. If he was going to give Chelsea a push, this is the way to do it. We're saying like that she's not being booked well enough. This could be giving her letting us know, hey, keep an eye on this woman. We're gonna start to push her a bit more this upcoming year. So it's possible.
Oh yeah,
Roxanne,
I'm for it. If they did do that and then like let her hold it for a year, she could be one of those ones where it's like, well, you've only got till this time to cash it in, and she's like, oh, I don't know when I'm going to do it, kind of thing. But then you actually grow her character through that year, so then she becomes a believable world champion. I'm all for it. But you know what they're like with their Money in the Bank winners. They win the Money in the Bank and then they lose. They did the same with Tiffany. Lose. She was the one to lose against anyone that went up against Nia Jax. It's
yeah.
Oh yeah, another one would be Naomi.
Anyway.
Naomi would be another good one.
Oh yeah, Naomi, that'd be good. Yeah, that's a shitty part of wrestling, isn't it? It's just like with WWE specifically, it makes it less believable. It's like, oh, they keep losing when they hold the Money in the Bank, but once they cash it in, they start winning it all the time. Once they hold the belt, it's like Jesus. Usually, Money in the Bank goes to heels because it's usually a heel thing to cash it in. So yeah. Chelsea or Naomi, Roxanne Perez, these are all possible women. Becky and Charlotte, they've outgrown it. Maybe Alexa Bliss, could be interesting if they do it with her, if they start booking her properly. Actually, there could be quite a few options really with the women. Really, it feels more open, a lot more open with the women than it does with the men. For sure.
Yeah, because the only other man I can picture winning the Money in the Bank is Cody Rhodes, and then he cashes in at SummerSlam to face Cena. That's the only. It's really only Seth and Cody is the only two I see winning. As you said, there is a little ball chance that it could be Bron Breakker, but I more see Bron Breakker be the one to beat Seth for the belt in the end. Or obviously it could be Sammy that beats Seth. I don't know, but. I don't know. To me, it's just literally either Cody or Seth that could win the men's. And then, yeah, as you said, it is quite an open field for the women, for sure.
If Cody's in the match, he'd win it instantly. It's like they don't have time for Cody to lose it and then find another way to the belt before Cena retires. They'll just have Cody win that thing and just pick the right time to cash it in. Usually faces who win it, they'll let you know when they're going to cash it in and that. So Cody will really be like, oh, I declare I'm going to cash this in on you at SummerSlam or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, would that be too predictable? Maybe. But then again, there's not very much options on it anyway. Should be interesting though. Should be very cool to see what they do there. The qualifying matches, I think, start next week. So we'll see where they go there. But yeah, it'd be, after this conversation, I'm particularly interested in what they do with the women and then have a think about who would win that. So, but I really like your Stephanie idea. I'd absolutely go with that, hands down.
Yeah. Because as I said to you, like if Cody was to win it, then yeah, he'd probably announce it for SummerSlam, and then if Stephanie Valkyrie wins it, she could go, yeah, I want to challenge. Say Io, I want to challenge Io Sky at Evolution. And then you're like, okay, there we go, done. And they cash in on they pre-announce the cash in rather than running into a match and cashing in. But yeah, no, it should be good. I always enjoy Money in the Bank, and the match itself is always fun. Yeah. So I expect about 4 matches. That's normally what you get when you get like one of these matched pay-per-view sort of ones. It's normally about 4 matches. You get 1 to open the show, then you have 2 middle matches, and then you have 1 to close the show. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know when we'll do our next podcast though. I don't know whether it'll be before or after Money in the Bank. I guess we could try and get like a predictions one done before, maybe like try and do a shorter, even shorter than this, because it's almost 3 hours this podcast. We wanted to go 2. It's almost 3. At least it's not as bad. At least it's not as bad as 5 hours.
Definitely not. Jesus Christ.
But those rants.
Yeah, we'll talk it out on. Oh yeah, the rants. Yeah. Like, you were on. Had to let some stuff out today, didn't you, son? Yeah, you had stuff on your chest.
I knew I had to. I knew I had to. But yeah, we'll discuss it. Hopefully, we could get a predictions video, like 1 hour, even if it's like we'll try and do an ultra short one where we don't go through all the build-ups and stuff and just literally give our predictions. And then, obviously, we'll most likely we'll be back for a review of Money in the Bank, no doubt. We probably won't be here for a Saturday night's main event review, because that's like the next Saturday is when that is. So yeah, I don't think we'll be back.
This Saturday, next Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be back for that. But yeah, we'll definitely be back for just after Money in the Bank. Is there anything else you want to say before we close out, Scott?
I guess we should have some vitriol towards Cena, because was it last year or year before that, Cena promised that Money in the Bank, or teased Mania would come to the UK. I ain't seen shit from that. So damn you, Cena, for mentioning that.
As somebody said online, and it should have happened when Cena came back to London the other week, he should have went, actually, nah, you don't deserve a WrestleMania. That's what he should have done.
Yeah, he should have been like, I take that back. I was just messing with him. I just wanted to get the love from you guys.
But I'll tell you what, I'm glad at the moment they're not coming to London, because like the prices, even for the nosebleeds.
Oh, we couldn't afford it anyway.
It'd be about £800 a night in the nosebleeds.
Oh
so.
My God. Flipping heck. And if it was us two hanging out to do that, we'd wanted to book a room or something like that in a hotel or something. That'd add to the cost as well, wouldn't it?
We might as well go to America and go to an American one. That's how much we'll still be paying for them.
Yeah, might as well.
Well, actually, no, I think it was £400 in the nosebleeds. But you know, we went to All In or last year now. We went to All In, we sat in the nosebleeds there, and we paid, about £80 each? £88, I think, wasn't it, per ticket? Imagine for that seat, paying £400 for that seat.
Oh my gosh.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'll be like, yes, I've been to Mania. Like, we've finally been to one. But whether it's worth that price. Like, I thought £88 was decent. Like, it wasn't the best price for where we were sat, but it was decent. But let alone, how many to 5 times more than that to sit? I don't know.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, we was talking about like maybe going All In next year, but we'll see what the prices are for that next year and see how they are. But at least it's more within discussion than it is Mania. That's just completely just off the table. You'd have to save up for quite some time before
you'd have to have
close to that.
You'd have to have a house mortgage to go to bloody Mania nowadays. Jesus.
I know, right? I mean, it's on our checklist to do one day, but I just don't know when. But hopefully, one day before we die, we can go to at least one Mania together, won't it?
Yeah, when we're 85 years old, mate, we'll go.
Use our pension.
Use our pension money. But yeah, use our lump sum pension money to go.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Yay, finally here.
Oh yes, Judgment Day still hasn't split up.
Oh, look at Dominic. He's still in the game at 60.
Yes, him and Finn, they're still arguing.
They're arguing. Oh. Liv's still in there. They're all together. Oh my gosh, they're still not broken up.
Anyway, everyone, that's 31 years of time for us. So, but yeah, so that's it for this podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. At least we did manage to shorten it down a little bit, at least. By 2 hours at least. So yeah, we'll still
it's just fun talking about this stuff.
Exactly. It's passion. Passion gets us through it. It doesn't seem like it's been 3 hours, but it has. But yeah, we're still learning. Obviously, we're still learning, and we'll get better at doing this, better at time management. But yeah, I really enjoyed this podcast. Really enjoyed talking about Backlash with you. Hopefully, as I said, we could get a Money in the Bank predictions done, even if it's a short 30-minute review, like video, whatever. And then we'll obviously get a Money in the Bank review done. That will be when we'll definitely be back again, just after Money in the Bank, I'm assuming. But obviously, we'll let everyone know a date at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if you want to follow me on our TikTok account, that's obviously you do. I upload daily wrestling content on there. So that's on TikTok. It's at Beneath the Ring. It's also on Instagram. I upload the same videos on each. So Either or, you can follow either or follow on both. That'd be even more amazing. Yeah, I'll give my thoughts and opinions on certain stuff on there, so you can keep up to date with my thoughts there. Obviously, with Scott, you got to wait for the next podcast, but that makes it all unique. You don't know what he thinks, and as you can tell by this podcast, we both have our different tastes in wrestling, and I think that's what makes our conversation very interesting, because we're not like other podcasts that I've seen where all they do is agree with each other. Even when they disagree, they end up agreeing. Me and Scott are not. We don't. We both got our different tastes, and the good thing about us is we can agree to disagree. So that's good. But yes, everyone, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you're this far through, thank you very much for listening. And yeah, we shall hopefully, as I said, see you at after Money in the Bank or just before with predictions. Yeah, so Scott, you say your goodbyes.
Yes, goodbye, everyone. If you've listened to the end of this, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed yourself there. Absolutely follow Dan on TikTok and all of that and enjoy what he's doing there. It's really good stuff. And then, yeah, until next time, hope you enjoy your wrestling and look forward to doing this again.
Okay, well, we'll see you all next time, everyone. Bye-bye.